everybody. Hopefully you can hear me. I'm sure there's probably 1,000 people live. I'm sure there's probably 1,000 people who've already covered this. I'll let some notifications click in. I think I saw that Willie was live, but I didn't even know he was going live, or I would have probably pushed mine back for a little bit later. But yeah, let me just do a quick little check here, make sure my audio's good, make sure my internet's good, because we all know sometimes my internet gives me a problem. Good morning, Lucy. Hi, darling. How are you? I know we've both been up since so early this morning. My sound is good? Okay, cool. If I need it to be louder or something, just let me know, honey. I do comments on StreamYard or Restream that, like, I'll see them in chat on my phone, but I don't. Today's probably going to be a longer live. We have a lot to go over. Obviously, lots and lots of documents. Yes. Um, there's so much. And oh my, can you hear me? Can you hear me? Are we here? Is this real? My God, we haven't even started, right? And I've already been booted. They shut me down every time, bro. Every time. Heather, I know you know what I mean. This is insane. Insane. Cool Hand Luke, hello, good to see you. Stacy Martell, good to see you. Good morning, everybody. I'm sure, there's everybody's live, so I get it. You guys, I appreciate all of you who are here. Says there's 15 of you. At least give it a thumbs up. I'd appreciate it. Let's get in the algorithm. I didn't realize Willie was live, so if I had known that, I probably would have pushed this back until, a nooner or something. We could have done like a nooner bangarang, but we got a lot to go through. I mean, I want to get through this general narrative in the first 50, at minimum 50 supplemental reports today, because it's just wild. Anna D, hello. How are you, darling? Welcome on in. Hope everybody's having a good day. You could put Willie up on the TV, have me on the tablet, have Lana on the laptop. You could definitely be, watching multiple streams at once. I know that's what a lot of people do. Hopefully my audio and my fucking internet's gonna hold up here, you know. Well, Momos, hello, how are you? Good morning. Welcome on in. Thank you for being here. We got a lot to cover as far as docs go. I was going to try and go over the press conference because that press conference to me is just, the press conference was wild with these officers and with the agent from the FBI who spoke about the IGG. I just, my brain is like melting. Anybody else need a shit ton of coffee today? I know I already went and got a quad blonde espresso on ice, and I was like, you know what? Can you put an extra shot? Give me an extra shot in there. I actually got 5 shots of espresso on ice today. Speaking of which, let me grab So hopefully everybody's got their coffee, got their drinks, got their snacks, got a comfy spot. If you're at work listening, I'll try and keep my voice. I'll try not to yell or get riled up. I'm going to try and just stay soft today, snarky but soft. That's what we're going for, Nelly. Sorry, guys, she hears me talking and it's not to her. Okay, so yeah, I know, Anna. Well, it is what it is. It is what it is, okay? He has 42 days to file an appeal, and the only thing that I can say about it is if he doesn't file an appeal within the 42 days, we have no other choice than to accept that he is absolutely guilty. I don't know what else to say, right? That's really, if he doesn't file an appeal, he has 42 days to do so. And if he doesn't, then, you know, it's not our call, right? It's not our call here. So I guess that's all we can do is now that all of these documents are being released and these police officers and investigators and FBI agents and prosecutor representatives are saying things that no motive, no connection. Trust me, we hoped, we looked, we hoped it was there. We have nothing till this day, right? I mean, I would appeal it. I'd absolutely be filing my appeal. I'd already have the appeal ready to go, you know what I mean? Just because, like, this is some bullshit. Unless you're guilty, then you wouldn't file an appeal. You wouldn't fight it. So I guess we're going to see. We'll see what happens. I'm always going to keep an open mind here. So I hope that everyone else tries to as well. Eddie, good morning, Eddie. Oh my goodness, I'm so happy to see you. What's going on here? Hang on, let me look at this. Why is Eddie not blue? Eddie's supposed to be a mod. Let me fix that. Eddie, you should be in blue now. There you are. Yeah. Okay, cool. Awesome. Yeah, Momo. Well, that's what I mean, right? I mean, all I can do is go by what's said in court, go by what these people are saying, try to have an open mind. In my opinion, if you're not guilty, you would appeal this all the way, especially now that you're hearing these people literally say they didn't have shit other than this sheet and some phone pings, it sounds like. And if that's the case, I mean, I don't know why you took a plea. I know why the state would want to give you one, but I don't know why you take it. I don't know why you're asking for one, right? Maybe the whole plan, everybody keeps saying there's a plan. I mean, maybe that was the plan, right? Get them to take the plea so that they all just drop all this shit. The gag is lifted, the documents are released, the public now gets to see everything, and you can appeal and get your case out of this bullshit court. Go to a higher court. I mean, I don't know, We'll see, right? Yeah, Eddie, you were Blue Crew. I don't know what happened. So, like, I want to say, well, I know a couple weeks ago I lost my shit and I unmodded some people, but it was like 3 people. Outside of that, I thought I kept everybody else. So, you're blue again, darling. Gina P. Well, thank you so much. Good morning to you. Welcome on in. I appreciate you. You're amazing. Thank you so much. Cool hand Luke. If he doesn't file, he's part of a parallel investigation. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess that could be too. Maybe part of the reason they asked for the plea was like, listen, you take the DP off the table. We're asking for this plea. We know the feds like are working on something else in the background, and he has information for it. I mean, I guess yes, that's always a possibility, but I'm struggling to get to that one. Know what I mean? What I will say is that after getting through the first I think I made it through the first 30 or 40 supplemental, something like that. I was like, holy shit. Now we know what Bethany's exculpatory evidence was. Her material, the things that she saw and that she heard that are unique to her. Well, it's this firecracker and this flash that we'll get into. She's on the first floor. I'm not exactly sure how you saw a flash and you're on the first floor if there's only one perpetrator and he's entering through the slider. But what do I know? Again, no facts here. I don't know shit. These are just my thoughts and my opinions on what I'm reading, what I'm seeing. That's all. So, we have a lot to get into. I don't want to waste anyone's time. I appreciate everybody being here. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up on your way in. It helps. And yeah, I'm sure, I'm pretty sure I don't even know who's live. I have a feeling like Lana's live, Willie's live, probably Dago. I mean, probably, 12, 13 people live right now. So appreciate you guys hanging out here with me. I really do. Yeah, I agree, Eddie. To me, Elisa seems the most unhappy out of everybody on the team. Oh, Dago's on with Willie. Oh, maybe I should just postpone it till later, right? Maybe I should just postpone mine till later. I don't know. I feel bad. I didn't realize that Willie was going. He didn't even tell me he was going live. He does this. He just does these pop-up lives. He don't say shit. He don't let nobody know. You know what I mean? Oh, really, Taurus babe? Hmm. Yeah, I haven't seen that one yet. Welcome on in. Good morning to you. Thanks for being here. Pop-up Willies, yeah. He does it all the time. Well, when I was talking to him last night, he's like, yo, can you send me the link? Can you send me the docs? And I'm like, I'll have to just email that shit to you, bro. It's like a lot. You're going to have to like go link by link and get that shit yourself. So I'm glad that he did. All right, so let's see. I don't even know where to begin. I kind of didn't have a plan. I do have a plan, but I don't. I want to read docs, but I also, you know what? I'll do commentary. I'll do the whole like sentencing thing. I guess the only thing that I have to say about the sentencing yesterday is I'm a little bothered by the fact that Bethany didn't show up and had Emily speaking for her. And that's not victim blaming in any way. I feel like Dylan having and I know how everybody feels about Dylan, but I don't care. She at least showed up. She showed up. She was a mess. She was confrontational even through her messiness, right? And she showed up. She was confrontational towards the defendant. She seemed the most traumatized out of everybody who spoke, in my opinion. That's just my opinion. I agree with you, Eddie, on that. I've said many, many times that I believe that they threw her under the bus and they twisted her words. She told them repeatedly she didn't know, thought it was a dream, and wasn't sure it was real and couldn't differentiate between her dreams and what was real. Therefore, it is not her fault that law enforcement made her a key witness in their case to bolster their own affidavit and their own probable cause and kind of twisted her statements, in my opinion. It's just my opinion. So, to me, she seemed the most traumatized, and I give her credit for showing up, and I give her credit for what appears to be having the courage to confront the accused, even though you're terrified. And that's what I got from her, that she was absolutely terrified and traumatized. The most out of everybody who spoke, in my opinion. She seemed the most traumatized with like genuine trauma. But that's just my opinion. I'm not saying Emily wasn't. I'm not, Olivia, in my opinion, was a different kind of like Olivia was fire And it's because Olivia's coming from a place of like just straight rage, right? Whereas Dylan appeared to be coming from a place of genuine trauma. And that's just my opinion. Toes, welcome on in. Welcome on in. Well, you know, I get it. And maybe there is guilt. And I don't mean guilt in the way that everybody else does. I mean, there is people who experience like that survivor's guilt, like, why did I live or blah blah blah, or it is what it is, and everybody deals with that. I'm not here to like judge this girl or pass like some kind of this. I'm just giving my opinion on what I feel about how she behaved as opposed to everybody else. To me, she seemed the most traumatized. Um, and Olivia was fire. Like to me, Olivia was just like straight gangster, right? And it doesn't matter if you think Brian's innocent or guilty. I'm putting myself in the place of these people, and if I believed that this was the person who murdered my child, my sister, my best friend, whatever, right? I'm going to give the credit where the credit is due. Olivia was fire, and that is how I would address um, the perpetrator, the alleged perpetrator as well in court. I don't know anybody who's not a parent or an auntie or an uncle or whatever that wouldn't also um, say what Olivia said. And I kind of like it that Olivia used his own paper, his questionnaire, his survey for the criminals and whatnot. Like, that was really interesting. The, psychological aspect she deployed there in her victim impact statement. Um, so, it doesn't matter what we think about these people. I'm just giving credit where credit's due because I would be the same way if that was my kid or my family member. You know what I mean? That's just my opinion. Well, yeah, Eddie, I don't know what her trauma's from. I don't know. Only she knows, right? I have no idea. I'm just saying she seems, out of everyone, the most deeply traumatized. Um, so, that's just my opinion. And I think Olivia's victim impact statement was absolutely amazing, you know? Um, and I think it was amazing because I feel like it was very relatable to anybody who's a parent, or if that was your sister or your brother, or, right? Isn't that how you'd want to talk to the perpetrator if you got the chance? Isn't that what you'd want to say to the person who killed your family member? Most of us would want to say a lot more. Most of us would want 5 minutes alone. Some people, I was just watching a bunch of videos the other day of when defendants get attacked in court by like the victim's family members and stuff, So like, I don't know. I just feel like the victim impact statements, in my opinion, were out of everybody who spoke. I felt like Dylan and Olivia's were the most compelling, in my opinion. Um, but I don't know shit. These are just my opinions. Don't come for me. Yeah, I know, right? Who claimed? I know. Well, that's what I mean. I don't know. There's a lot more going on here, and that's why I'm saying we need to wait until we have a full and complete record if we ever get it, right? And now that we're getting MPD's supplemental reports, now we need to get ISPs. We need to get Latah County Sheriff. We need to get FBI. Doubt they'll give it up. But yeah, every agency that worked on this case is apparently supposed to be putting their own documents, whatever documents they retain for their agency regarding this case. That's where you have to go if you want them, which is why Moscow is only releasing their stuff through the link that they created. we're still going to have to get a full and complete record between court docs, ISP reports, Moscow reports, Fed reports if we can get them, sheriff's reports if we can get them. Until we have everything, we don't have a full picture. We don't have the complete history and narrative of this case. It is what it is. And because there were so many agencies and hands in the cookie jar, trying to obtain all of this information from all of these agencies to build a complete picture is going to take a while. It is what it is. I know they thought his plea meant that this shit just goes away and it ends, but it doesn't. It doesn't. It just doesn't. Even if he doesn't appeal it, it's not going to prevent the public from wanting to read the docs and know exactly what happened and who did what and when. Know what I mean? So that's just exactly Eddie. Yeah. Well, we may not. We probably will not get full transparency here. I understand that. I don't believe we're going to get many things from the feds if we do, heavily redacted. Well, Mary, hello. Mary, I don't know if you saw my earlier comment. I did link for the docs, everything for the docs. I linked it for you, darling, on that community tab post. I ended up going back and editing the post, and I added it for you because I forgot. But the link is there. Anybody who wants the docs, I did post the link while I'm thinking about it. Let me put it in chat right now. If there's anybody in chat who does not have any of these yet, if you want it, here you go. All right, so let's see. Where do I want to start? It's this one. It's number 1. Okay. All right. So again, thanks everybody for being here. I did link the document. I'm going to pin it at the top. Anybody who needs it, there you go. Print everything, download it, you know, laminate it, frame it, you know what I say. Let's see here. Let's get cracking into this. Share screen. All right, so we're just going to try and rip right through it. Some of these aren't long. Let's get into all of these Moscow Police Department supplemental reports. First one, there is the general narrative. The general narrative is like 29 pages. I'm not going to go through that right now. What I'll end up doing is going back and pinning that actual document on its own in the comments of this live after it's over. I'll go back and pin that. It's 29 pages. It has everything in there from evidence they started collecting immediately on the 13th. It goes all the way through his arrest. It's, you know, I'm not going to do that right now. I just want to get into these reports, but I promise I'll pin it for everybody. So I'll just pin it in a comment at the end of this live. All right, so here we go. First supplemental report. This is coming from Corbin Smith. This is for initial response and scene security. On 11/13/2022 at about noon, I responded to 1122 King Road in reference to possible homicide victims. Officer Nunes had arrived on scene and found a total of 4 deceased individuals. Officer Nunes informed other units he believed this to be a homicide. When I arrived, I entered the residence and went to the second floor. I observed a female wearing a sweatshirt and underwear laying in the middle of the bedroom floor, covered in blood. I observed deep lacerations, indicative of defensive wounds on the female's hands. The female was surrounded by blood on the floor. I observed a male laying on the bed. The male appeared to have suffered from stab wounds and a laceration to the neck. The male was covered in blood, and the bedding around him was soaked in blood. Good morning, Janet. Thank you for being here. Okay, I'm trying to watch chat on my phone because I am in another window reading. So thank you, everybody, if you're just joining. Don't forget to give it a thumbs up. Appreciate you. Hope you're having a great day, and thank you for being here. In a third-floor bedroom, I observed two females laying in bed, which appeared to have been stabbed to death. The female laying on the left half of the bed, as I looked at it from the doorway, was unrecognizable. Her face was completely disfigured and was stabbed several times. I was unable to comprehend exactly what I was looking at while trying to discern the nature of the injuries. The second female on the right half of the bed had multiple stab wounds. The comforter was soaked in blood, and a pool of blood was still present. I was assigned to hold security at the rear slider door. This was the alleged point of entry of the suspect. I observed very large footprints in the snow. I used a tape measure, and the shoe size measured approximately 13.5 to 14 inches. The footsteps went to and from the rear slider door. I observed the trail of footsteps head away from the slider, then turn right around a stump in the backyard and lead towards the front of the house. I observed a set of small handprints on the window to the east of the slider. The screen to this window appeared damaged and was laying on the ground. I located smudged fingerprints on the glass slider door. There was a discarded black backpack in the backyard. I photographed these items and attached them to the case. I maintained rear security until I was relieved by Officer Warner. The only person to enter from this point was Captain Lanier at about 3:27. So he held the scene from noon to 3:27. Lanier's the only one who showed up approximately 3:27. But while he's holding the scene, he measured the footprints and took photographs of not only the footprints, but the handprints on the slider, the damaged screen, smudge fingerprints on the slider, and a discarded black backpack. Okay. Interesting. So now keep this in mind as we go through these. Okay. Officer Corbin Smith says that on the third floor, there's a female on the left side of the bed who's unrecognizable. Because as we get through these reports, there's another officer who in his report is talking about two females that he's observed at the scene that are unrecognizable. So much so that he's confused between that with Xana and Kaylee and who's on which floor. He initially thinks that it's Kaylee on the first floor with Ethan in the room with the male, and he's claiming she is unrecognizable. But he's also claiming the female on the third floor is also unrecognizable. And then later corrects it in his report that it's Kaylee on the third floor, Xana on the second. So just keep this all in mind as we're reading through these reports. Corbin Smith is, it's interesting the differences in some of the reports. That's what I'll say. Okay, so that's supplemental number 1, Corbin Smith. Stop sharing that. Let's get into number 2. If you've already read through these, you know exactly what I'm talking about when I say that. All right, number 2. This is Officer Eric Warner. This is his initial response, clearing the home, interview with Hunter Johnson, HJ. Felony event, blah, blah, blah. On November 13th, 2022, at approximately 11:58, I responded to a report of an unconscious person at 1122 King. Now that's interesting. Because when Corbin Smith arrives, it's clear to Corbin Smith this is 100% for homicides. There's blood everywhere. People are in pools of blood. People are disfigured. People have what appear to be large lacerations to their neck. And yet the call is coming in as an unconscious person. So it's just very interesting. Dispatch advised a female was passed out from intoxication and not waking up. Dispatch advised there was a male seen in the room with the female last night. A short time later, dispatch advised the female was not conscious and not breathing. As I arrived, Officer Nunes advised over the air it appeared to be a homicide. I saw a small group of females outside the home in the parking lot. One female advised their roommate was on the second floor and needed help. I went to Officer Nunes' location at the west bedroom on the second floor and passed a male in the living room, later identified as Hunter Johnson. Sidebar, why is Hunter Johnson sitting in the fucking crime scene in the living room? I thought Corbin Smith had to clear it. Corbin Smith's report says he has to clear the scene and secure the rear slider. Why is Hunter Johnson in the living room and this second officer is passing by this non-law enforcement person who's sitting in the living room in the middle of this crime scene? I don't understand why Hunter Johnson is inside the house. That's all I'm going to say. I don't understand why he's inside the house at this point. That's just my little sidebar for that. I went to Officer Nunes' location at the west bedroom on the second floor and passed a male in the living room, later identified as Hunter Johnson. Officer Nunes advised the female and a male in the bedroom had blood on them and appeared to be beyond help. I walked out of the bedroom towards Johnson and saw a clean steak knife on a beer pong table. I pointed out the knife to Nunes. Johnson said he got the steak knife from the kitchen because he arrived and saw the female on the bedroom floor covered in blood and did not know if there was anyone else present in the room. Johnson said he checked the room with the knife for protection. Interesting. Officer Nunes and I walked to the first floor entrance with Hunter. I asked the females and Hunter if there was anyone else in the apartment, and they did not know. I told Officer Nunes the home was not secure, and we started the process of clearing it. Oh my God. So, at this point, the officer has not, and neither is Hunter, apparently, determined whether or not the killer is still in the fucking house. The home has not been secured. You understand? There has been no room sweeps. No one has swept the rooms. Because according to this guy, he is arriving to let Officer Nunes know, like, he's like, wait a minute, I passed this guy in the fucking living room. Who's this dude standing here in the living room in the middle of the crime scene here? Right? And then he has to advise Officer Nunes, this scene is not secure. Did you even, it's like, bro, did you clear the house? Did you sweep any of these rooms? Are you sure the killer is not still in a closet somewhere, sir? How did you determine that? Because after Hunter tells this gentleman that he got the knife for protection and that he checked their room with the knife for protection, right? That's when this officer is telling news. We need to go down to the first floor. The house is not secure. And started the process of clearing it. So Nunes and Warner start the process of clearing the house after Nunes and Smith have already been chilling in the crime scene with Hunter Johnson in the fucking living room. I'm sorry, this is just wild to me. I'm like blown away. I'm blown away. I'm absolutely blown away. They didn't clear that house. I don't know. Maybe it's just the way these people write reports. On the third floor, in the southeast bedroom, I saw two clothed females laying on a bed on their backs who appeared deceased. One female on the left side of the bed, in relation to the bedroom door, had an extreme amount of lacerations to her face and upper body, which made her unrecognizable. The other female had multiple lacerations on her upper body and some blood on her face. I walked to the far side of the bed to determine if the female on the right was beyond help. I saw the female's leg was off the edge of the bed and it had lividity. Once I noticed the lividity in the female's leg, I backed out of the room. Officer Nunes and I checked the rest of the third floor and saw it was clear. There was a poodle in the west bedroom on the bed, which was later taken to the Humane Society. After clearing the home, I briefly interviewed Johnson. I can only assume it's Hunter Johnson. Jay said he was at his apartment, blank, and his girlfriend, Yats Johnson, EA, received a phone call from one of the girls who lived at the 1122 King Road house. Johnson said a lant was called by one of the residents who said they could not wake the female on the floor. Johnson said he came over to the home at approximately 11:55. Johnson said he saw the female on the floor in the bedroom and did not see the male on the bed, who he identified as Ethan, before grabbing the knife. Johnson said he entered the bedroom and checked the female's pulse and found none. Johnson said he did not check Ethan and left the home. I thanked Johnson for talking with me and told him he could go stand with Alant, who was with the other residents in front of the home. Hunter, why are you even in the crime scene? I don't understand. I'm sorry. It's wild to me. These officers didn't say to him, you cannot be inside this house. You need to go stand outside with your friends. You cannot be inside here. We will come and get your statement. You stay outside. It's wild. I stood by at the front door and started the crime scene log at 12:15. Sergeant Gunderson relieved me for approximately 3 minutes so I could go get my gloves during my time at the front door. At approximately 3:02, I was relieved by Officer Rosinski, who took possession of the crime scene log and returned to the station. At approximately 3:28, I came back to the scene and relieved Officer Smith, who was standing at the rear sliding glass door, which was found open when officers arrived. I remained at the back door until I was relieved by Officer Nunes at approximately 4:28. And stood by the door and started the crime scene log at 12:15. Sergeant Gunderson relieved me for approximately 3 minutes, so he comes back on at 12:20 after he goes to get his gloves. By 3, he's relieved by Rosinski, who took possession of the crime scene log. And then by 3:28, he came back to the scene and relieved Smith. Okay. At approximately 15:02, that's 3:02, I was relieved. At approximately 15:28, 3:28, 26 minutes later. Came back to the scene and relieved OFC Smith. I'm not crazy, Eddie, right? Am I right about that military time? I mean, it's been a while since I read military time, but it's like riding a bike. Yeah, no. 15:02, 3:02. 15:28, 3:28. At 3:02, I was relieved by Rosinski, who took possession of the crime scene log and returned to the station. At approximately 3:28, so 26 minutes later, he came back to the scene and relieved Officer Smith. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So, supplemental report number 2, Officer Eric Warner. Stop sharing that. Let's get to number 3. Hello, let me come to chat. Hi, everybody. Meg P, beautiful Meg P. Hi, darling. Sorry, guys. I wasn't watching my chat on my phone because I was reading and I couldn't see chat in StreamYard. Hello, everybody. Appreciate you being here. Thank you, thank you. Mods, love you. Thank you. You guys are awesome. Chipmunk Feet, hello. Welcome on in. Thinkers Think, hello. Welcome on in. If I missed you, I'm sorry. Janet UK, hello. All right. Michelle, hello. Good to see you. All right, let's go take a peeky poo at supplemental report number 3. Sarah, hi, honey. How are you? Number 3. Tres. Uno, dos, tres. All right, number 3 here is supplemental report from Officer Mitch Nunes. For response, interviews, search warrant applications, patio entry log. All right. Swifferfly, hello. How are you? I know it's SW Firefly, but I only call you Swifferfly because Kane always does, and it's just stuck in my brain. It's like Dinky calling Heather for fuck's sake Fitziana, and now it's just stuck in my brain. So hello, Swifferfly, and for fuck's sake Fitziana. All right, so let's see. Mitch Nunes. On November 13th, 2022, at approximately 11:56, I responded to an unconscious subject at 1122 King Road in Moscow, Idaho. Upon my arrival, I found a large gathering of people in the parking lot immediately north of the 1122 King Road residence. 1122 King Road is a white 3-story single-family residence with multiple bedrooms. The 1122 designation is located directly above the front door facing north. I was directed to a bedroom on the 2nd floor by Hunter Johnson in the northwest corner to locate the unresponsive female. Upon entering the room, I observed a female laying supine on the floor next to a bed. According to Dylan Mortensen, this female was likely Kaylee J. Gonsalves. Dylan also lived at 1122 King Road. I observed dried blood surrounding Kaylee's body and signs of cutting trauma to her face. Kaylee was covered in so much blood I wasn't able to immediately discern where any additional injuries would have likely been. Kaylee was apparently deceased due to her pale skin color, rigid body tone, and apparent blood loss. On the bed in the same room, this is the 2nd floor, directed to a bedroom on the 2nd floor. This is Mitch Nunes. Dylan has told him this person on the 2nd floor is likely Kaylee Gonsalves. And her trauma to her face, she's covered in so much blood, he's not able to immediately discern where any additional injuries would have likely been. On the bed, in the same room, I observed Kaylee. I observed a male laying supine on the bed. Well, obviously, they got it mixed up, right? I get that. But you understand why, like, even sidebar, this is why the defense team is looking through some of these reports like, what the fuck? Are they what? Because it's confusing. Because even these officers were confused. But the point that I'm getting at is, according to Mitch Nunes here, the female on the second floor is unrecognizable. And he believes it's Kaylee. You understand? This is where I hope, for fuck's sake, Fitzy, and I know you understand exactly what I'm saying here. That's why I mentioned before we even started going over these docs that in one of these reports there is an officer who is claiming that there's two females in this house that are unrecognizable based on his observations. And this is what I meant. So in the same room that he observed Kaylee, he observed a male laying supine on the bed. According to Dylan, the male was likely Ethan Chapin. Dylan said Ethan was commonly at the residence. I observed blood covering portions of Ethan's legs, surrounding his body into the bed sheets, and drops of blood on the wall near Ethan's head. As I backed out of this room, Hunter showed me a kitchen knife and said he had it in his possession. I told Hunter to leave the knife and go back down the stairs to the front entrance, which he clearly didn't do because Hunter's still sitting in the fucking living room when the other officer arrives, as we just read in that officer's report. Leave the knife and go back downstairs, Hunter. Officer Warner and I moved to visually clear the residence for any suspects or additional victims. On the third floor, Officer Warner and I found two additional apparently deceased females, both laying supine in a bed. This bedroom was on the southwest corner of the third floor. According to Dylan, these two females are likely Xana and Madison. One female showed an apparent traumatic injury to her face due to the basic facial structure being unrecognizable. Both females showed very pale skin. Both females were covered in dry blood and apparently deceased. Second floor, unrecognizable female. Third floor, unrecognizable female. After the residence was deemed safe, Officer Warner and I exited the residence to secure it and the immediate area, to include the parking lot immediately to the north of the residence. I walked outside and began interviewing Dylan. Dylan told me at approximately 4, she heard a voice scream and believed it to be Kaylee's. Dylan said she heard Kaylee scream and announced there was somebody inside the residence. Dylan said she could hear Kaylee run from the third floor down the stairs to the second floor into the northwest bedroom. That's Xana and Ethan's room. This is why Anne said, well, how can that be true? So if that's true, how'd she end up back upstairs? Right? Dylan said she locked herself in her bedroom and continued to hear a commotion. Dylan said eventually she stopped hearing a struggle and heard a male voice say, quote, "You're going to be fine. I'm going to help you." Dylan said she did not recognize the male's voice. Dylan said after a few minutes, she peeked out of her bedroom and observed a male described approximately 6 feet tall, slim build with a black ski mask, leave the second floor patio area. This patio door was likely left open as it was found open upon my arrival. Christy Nevada, hello. I just peeked out of the corner of my eye on my phone. Hi, everybody. So, isn't that interesting that this officer here is under the impression that there are two unrecognizable females in this home? One is on the second floor, one is on the third. And Dylan is telling these police that she is hearing Kaylee screaming, someone is inside the house, and she is running from the third floor down the stairs to the second floor and into Xana and Ethan's room. I interviewed an additional roommate, Bethany Funk, who told me she was at the residence during the commotion. Bethany said she was on the second floor in the living room watching Vampire Diaries with Dylan and an unidentified person named Elle. Bethany said at approximately 2 o'clock on 11/13, Madison and Kaylee came home from a night out at the Corner Club bar, located at blank in Moscow, Idaho. Bethany said she also believed Madison and Kaylee went to the grub truck that was commonly located in the 300 block of South Main Street. Bethany said she and Madison let Madison's dog out, Murphy. Bethany said she and Madison let Madison's dog out, Murphy, sometime between 2 and 2:30. So Bethany and Maddie are together letting out Murphy. Interesting. At approximately 2 to 2:30 in the morning. It's Bethany and Maddie letting out Murphy. Where's Kaylee? Right. Just asking questions here. Why is Bethany telling these cops that Murphy is Maddie's dog, number one? Number two, where's Kaylee, and why are Maddie and Bethany the ones bringing him outside? I guess is where I'm going with this. Oh shit, Willie, what up, homie? I thought you were live. I didn't know you were going live. You didn't tell me, or I would have pushed mine back, but hello. Welcome on in, everybody. Rose, Simply Solo, They Live, Joey, hello. I'm peeking out of the corner of my eye on my phone and checking chat. Hi, everyone. Welcome in. Thank you for being here. Appreciate you guys. So Bethany said her and Maddie let Madison's dog out, Murphy, sometime between 2 and 2:30. Bethany said during this time she observed no suspicious activity. Bethany said she returned inside while Maddie was still outside with Murphy. Bethany said she went to bed around 2:30. Bethany said Maddie came into her room sometime after 2:30 to ask if she knew where Murphy was. Sidebar. You were just outside, Bethany, with Maddie and Murphy. You go lay down at 2:30, and sometime not long after that, Maddie comes in to ask you where Murphy is. Doesn't that seem strange to you? Where's Kaylee when all of this is occurring with her dog, right? Doesn't it seem strange that Madison is coming into the bedroom to Bethany's room to say, where's Murphy? When they were both just outside with Murphy? Bethany said she told Madison no, and Madison left. Bethany said she woke up in her bedroom, which was located on the first floor, to a sound she described as a firecracker and a flash. Interesting. Bethany said she initially thought the sound was a prank. Interesting. So Maddie's outside with Bethany and Murphy. Xana and Ethan are allegedly home by this time. Bethany goes to her room at 2:30. Maddie comes to say, hey, you know where Murphy is? And then there's a firecracker and a flash, and she thinks it's a prank. Huh. Hmm. Again, I ask, where was Kaylee? According to Bethany's phone log she showed me, Bethany called Xana at 4:21, Ethan at 4:22, Maddie at 4:22, Maddie again at 4:30, and Kaylee at 4:31. So Kaylee's the last one she calls. Bethany said she never received an answer on each of them. Bethany said she went back to sleep and woke up around noon, 11:56, when 911 was called. Initially, I was told Kaylee was likely located on the second floor bedroom with Ethan. After comparing Dylan's initial statement with other investigations officers' observations, it appeared to actually be Xana that was located on the floor of that bedroom, and Kaylee was one of the other females located in the third floor. So either way, there are two females, according to Mitch Nunes here, that he observed to be unrecognizable in this home. One is on the second floor, one is on the third. And I'm still confused as to how, if you're Bethany and you are on the first floor and it's a little after 2:30 in the morning, well, it doesn't give a time actually. She said she woke up in her bedroom. There isn't a time, doesn't say what time she woke up in her bedroom, located on the first floor, to a sound she described as a firecracker and a flash. So I guess my question is if you're the perpetrator who allegedly entered and exited out the rear slider, how is Bethany seeing a flash of anything if she's on the first floor? What's the flash, right? Firecracker and a flash, and her initial reaction, it's another one of these fucking pranks. These assholes are playing another prank, right? They're playing another prank. That's her gut. That's her initial gut reaction. She thinks it's a prank, right? I don't know what kind of pranks these kids are playing on each other, but I mean, if you're lighting fireworks in the house and shit because you think it's funny, know what I mean? Firecracker and a flash. I don't know how she is seeing a flash of anything if she is on the first floor and this is all occurring on the second and third, right? I don't know. That doesn't make any sense to me. I don't understand how you are seeing a flash of anything. If this crime is occurring between second and third floor and you're on the first and you went to bed and really you didn't hear shit other than waking up and hearing a firecracker and seeing a flash. So that's Bethany's exculpatory evidence there. The things that she saw, the things that she heard that are unique to her, right? Well, you're on the first floor, Bethany, and if you're hearing fucking firecrackers and seeing flashes, clearly there's something else happening on the first floor too, right? Right? Wouldn't that be exculpatory in nature? Because they're claiming this is a lone wolf perpetrator who entered and exited out the rear slider of the second floor of the home. And if Bethany is hearing firecrackers and seeing flashes going off on the first floor, that would be exculpatory, right? So that's interesting. It's also exculpatory that she is the one who's outside with Kaylee's dog. Her and Maddie are outside with Kaylee's dog till like approximately 2:30-ish in the morning, right? Interesting. Very, 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 very interesting. Hmm. I'm going to marinate on that one for a little bit. All right, and then he talks about all of the plates. These are observe the following vehicles in the parking lot. We've got the Land Rover registered to JS. Let's That's some good shit right there. That's some good shit right there. That's some good shit right there. So the Land Rover wasn't registered to Kaylee. All right. We've got a Land Rover registered to JS. So we're clear. A Land Rover Silver 2015 Land Range Rover with Washington plate, blah, blah, registered to JS. That's not KG. So that's interesting that the vehicle is not registered to her. JS. Maddie's car was in her mom's name, KL. Xana's little Civic was in her dad's name, JK, I assume, or it could be her sister, but I assume it's her dad. Ethan's red Jeep, obviously in Jim Chapin's name. Their Ford Explorer, Jim Chapin's name. So that's interesting. Kaylee didn't own her Range Rover. I'm not trying to be an asshole towards any of these victims. I'm not at all, or their families in any way. But hasn't her family said repeatedly that, like, she worked her ass off for that car and she, like, bought it outright and it was hers and she owned it? And, I mean, JS, I can only assume it's fucking Showalter. But that's just, I'm just speculating. Do not take my word for it. JS could be anybody, but just off the top of my brain, the initials JS, only one I can think of is Jack Showalter. But what do I know? I don't know shit. You know what I mean? But it's interesting that her car is not in her name. This Range Rover is not in her name. It's registered to a JS. So, oh shit, Kane B, what up? How are you? Jesse, hello. What do you mean, Jesse, changed my mind? Changed my mind about what? I'm just reading docs, bro. I haven't changed my mind about anything. I just read docs and I ask questions. That's all. Because I don't have an opinion on the case. I really don't. I don't have an opinion. I just want the docs. I want the transparency. I want, that's really all that I care about. I just want it in black and white. I would like to be able to put together, a no, I haven't changed my mind about Dylan at all, Jesse. I still believe. I don't know, you may have missed it, but I did talk a little bit about the victim impact statements, and in my opinion, I'm still sticking with my initial thought. She appeared, in my opinion, to be the most traumatized out of everyone who spoke. Why that is, I have no idea. Only she knows why, okay? It's not up to me to determine, well, maybe she's just faking it, or maybe she's acting, or she deserves an Oscar, or whatever. I mean, you guys are entitled to your opinions, but, I'm not going there. I'm just saying, in my opinion, to me, she seemed the most traumatized out of everybody, but that's just, you know. But no, I haven't changed my mind on anything. I just really like to read the docs and ask questions about what I'm reading because some of this stuff is really interesting, you know? Like it's just kind of interesting the way this is all playing out according to their own supplemental reports here, you know? So she didn't own her Rover. At approximately 4:28, I returned to the 1122 King Road to assist with securing the southwest patio entrance. I took responsibility from Officer Warner in documenting who entered and exited the residence. I provided this documentation on a notepad and maintained the log until I was relieved by OFC Morris at approximately, what's that, 1750, so 5:50. The following information is the rear patio entry log. So 317 Lanier, 320 Warner arrives to relieve Smith. 428 Newtons arrives to relieve Warner. 509 Gunderson enters. 509. Gunderson leaves. Interesting. And then Corporal Payne, OFC. Interesting. What? Why is Gunderson only in and out for like 1 second? What's that all about? Oh, this is when they exited. Oh. Okay. All right. So that was, let's see, number 3. Stop sharing that. Get into number 4. Come over to chat. Say hi. Hello, everybody. Oh, wow, there's a lot more of you here. Well, welcome on in. Welcome on in. Thanks for being here. How's my mic holding up? How's my audio? Am I breaking up really bad or anything? I hope not. Yeah, still no mention of a sheath. I know, right? I noticed that too. Smith, Nunes, none of them are talking about a sheath when they're finding these victims, in the rooms and how they are in the bed, and blah, blah, blah. Audio's holding up good. Thank you. Awesome. All right. So, let's get into number 4. Keep track for me, guys. I may lose track here. We're going into number 4. Supplemental report number 4. It's Ryan Snyder. I thought this was interesting, too, that they had Snyder show up. He's the drug dog guy, right? Isn't Snyder the one with the beautiful retriever dog, lab dog, the white lab or something? It's a beautiful dog. I think it's his little drug sniffing dog. I could be confusing him, but I think this is Snyder. All right, so Ryan Snyder, initial response and canvas interviews. So this is 4. On November 13th at about noon, I responded to 1122 King Road for the report of an unresponsive subject. Upon my arrival, I noticed there were several college-age subjects out front of the address. I was directed to use police caution tape to cordon off the crime scene. As I was working around the residence, I noticed the back door was open and there were footprints in the snow coming from the back door on the back porch. They're not talking about bloody footprints or anything either. Notice none of these footprints they're finding outside, or they're not saying that they're like bloody. They're not talking about like bloody shoe prints through the kitchen or up the stairs. You get what I'm saying? Sidebar, isn't that interesting? They're finding footprints and handprints and fingerprints, but none of them are bloody, it would appear. And it would appear there are no bloody footprints or anything in the kitchen or the living room. Just wanted to sidebar that out of all they keep finding these footprints and boot prints and whatever, but apparently none of them are bloody. That's interesting. All right. As I was working around the residence, I noticed the back door was open and there were footprints in the snow coming from the back door on the back porch. Officer Smith took photos of these prints with the measuring tape. He watched the backyard area to make sure no one else came into the backyard. This portion of the backyard is connected to 2 other residences, 1118 King Road and 1126, both directly to the west. The footprints appear to lead west towards King Road, between the residences, but I was unable to see where the footprints went after the yards connected due to the amount of rock landscaping. I also was unable to discern how old these prints were. There had not been recent snowfall. With Sergeant Gunderson, I entered the residence to continue taking photos of the scene. I entered through the bottom floor main door on the north side. I took photographs of the rooms and living areas of the residence. The photos were downloaded onto a CD and booked into evidence. The photos were labeled in this report with a brief description of each photo. As I was down the road of the address near the King Road and Queen Road intersection, I was approached by a college-age male who identified himself as Jay. He informed me he lived at blank King Road apartment. He stated his blank lived upstairs at 1122 King, and they share a dog. So this is Jack Decor. They share a dog that was there currently. Jack did not appear to have obvious wounds on his hands, as I would assume the suspect possibly would. Well, you shouldn't assume that. Assumptions make an ass out of you and everyone else. Sir, sidebar, sorry, but you should never assume that. Don't ever assume that. Why would you assume that? I don't know why you would assume the suspect is going to have wounds. Don't you think if somebody's in there stabbing 4 people to death, they likely aren't barehanded? They likely have on some form of protective gear or gloves or whatever. I don't know why you'd assume the the perpetrator is going to have injuries, but that's just my sidebar on that. Assume, as I would assume the suspect possibly would. Officer Nunes was interviewing subjects about the situation. I asked Jack if he would wait inside Officer Nunes' police car so we could talk with him. He agreed to. I informed Sergeant Gunderson of the circumstance involving Jack. Jack later responded to the police department to be interviewed and then picked up the dog from the Moscow Humane Society shelter. I continued to canvass the area and speak with neighbors at blank, blank, and blank Queen Road, who stated they did not hear or see anything relevant. I spoke with subjects at blank King Road. One resident, D.L., I think that says, is that a D or a, yeah, D.L.? One resident, D.L., stated she was walking home from the corner club at about 3 o'clock and thought she could hear music or some type of noise, but she couldn't give any clarifying information more than that due to her level of intoxication that night. I spoke with subjects at Blank King Road. The majority of them stated they were out drinking at the corner club and got a ride back to their place about 1:30 and went to sleep about 2. They did not hear anything out of the ordinary. Blank King Road, blank resident, BP, stated at about 4 o'clock he heard a barking dog coming from the east of his residence. He believed it was the dog at 1122 King Road, as he thought that was the only dog in the area. He stated the dog sounded like it was outside and was barking for about 45 minutes until he believed someone must have let it inside at 4:45 when it stopped. B stated he had a female with him in bed at the time who also heard the dog barking. So the dog's barking before Brian pulls into the neighborhood. Started at about 4 o'clock. I mean, Brian's still making like 3-point turns and trying to park the car at like 4:04, 4:05, 4:06, 4:07, right? Suspect vehicle 1 doesn't make its final entrance to the neighborhood till like 4:07 a.m. And yet this neighbor is saying that it started at about 4 o'clock. It went till approximately 4:45. So this is why Ann was saying that, like, the dog barked way longer than they were saying, because in their reports, meaning law enforcement in the state, they're saying that the audio picked up the dog, right, barking, and it started like around 4:17-ish. As the car is speeding away, they tried to make it look like the dog didn't start barking until suspect vehicle 1 left, and then continued barking till approximately 4:50. Now we know why she said that. Because of this supplemental report right here, and whoever this witness is, the defense likely talked to this person. This person stating that the dog is fucking losing its mind right around 4 o'clock. I mean, their alleged suspect vehicle 1 isn't even parked until like 4:07 a.m. Doesn't even make its final entrance into the neighborhood till 4:07. Even though the police are trying to make it sound like the dog didn't start barking until right around the time suspect is fleeing the scene. That's not true. Dog was outside. So the dog is outside, but Maddie's roaming around the house in Bethany's room asking where he is. Isn't that interesting? The dog is outside losing his mind for almost an hour straight. And not an hour prior to this, Maddie is going into Bethany's room trying to find Murphy. Right? Isn't that wild? Anybody else like catching what's happening here? I don't understand this. This shit's wild. And then this person who's walking home is saying at 3 o'clock she can hear, she's pretty sure she hears music, noise. You got another neighbor saying the dog is losing his mind starting around 4. Yet Maddie is going into Bethany's room looking for Murphy, even though Murphy's already tied up outside. And where the fuck is Kaylee while all of this is going on with her dog? Do you get what I'm saying? I don't know. Because according to Dylan, Kaylee's running down the stairs and going into Ethan and Xana's room. Right? Dylan told police Kaylee is screaming, there's someone here. There's someone in the house. She's running down from the 3rd floor to the 2nd floor and into the bedroom with Ethan and Xana. So how'd she end up back upstairs? And where the hell was she when all of this is going on with her dog? And Maddie's looking for the dog, even though the dog apparently is outside, barking its head off, losing his mind. Very, very, very interesting. I'm so sorry I went off on my little sidebar there. It's because as I'm reading these reports and times and things are like clicking to me, I'm going, okay, so Maddie's roaming around the house looking for Murphy. No one's mentioning Kaylee other than Dylan saying Kaylee is running down the stairs screaming into Ethan and Xana's bedroom. And Bethany's hearing a firecracker and seeing a flash. Holy shit. I'm not even going to... A prank, huh? Interesting. She liked playing pranks. Okay. I spoke with the residents at Blank King Road. I think that's a P and a C, it looks like. PC informed me they had a camera facing the west of the address that they believe captures portions of the road. They first provided me with the SIM card out of the camera, however, they could not get it to work, and neither could I. They gave me the username and the password to the camera. I informed Detective Mallory of the information, and they gave me permission to access the camera footage and record the necessary surveillance video. I cleared the scene at about 17:49, so 5:49. Okay. These are all the photos he took. A key on retaining wall. Interesting. He took a photo of a key on the retaining wall north of 1122 parking lot. A key on the retaining wall north of the parking lot. Interesting. Then we have the Chapin's Ford Explorer being photographed. They took photos of the back seat of it. Front seat looks like same as the Jeep. Same for Maddie's car. Same for the Range Rover. Same for the Civic. Oh, give me 1 second, friends. I'm so sorry. Please don't leave. I just have to pause for 1 second. I'm going to mute myself. Just give me 2 seconds, friends. Sorry. My child needs me for something. Not a child, but, you know, the kid needs me for something. Give me 1 minute. So sorry, friends. Talk amongst yourselves. I'll be right back. So sorry. All right. Sorry, friends. So sorry about that. All right. So, okay, they got all the vehicles. Let's see. First floor. Here we go. First floor. Bathroom. Second floor living room and couch. Blah, 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 blah. Okay, so let's see. Kitchen knife on the beer pong table. Second floor. Second floor, west bedroom, female victim. They took a lot of photos of the bathroom as well, it would appear, on the second floor. Another photo of the female victim. They blood on the floor, second floor, west bedroom. They took photos of the bedroom closet on the second floor bedroom, female victim. And they have, let's see, second floor male victim. So they got 1, 2, 3 photos of Ethan. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 for Sammy. 3 for Ethan. Okay, let's get down here. Kitchen window handprint, kitchen window left handprint. I want all these images. Third floor west bedroom. Third floor west bedroom bed. Third floor west bedroom desk. Third floor west bedroom dog kennel. West bedroom foot of bed. Landing facing east. Bathroom, bathroom. Third floor bedroom. Blood cast off. So third floor southeast bedroom door. Southeast bedroom door, blood cast off. Southeast bedroom door, blood cast off 2. Southeast bedroom bed, 2 female victims. Southeast bedroom above bed. What does that mean? Bedroom above bed. Southeast bedroom above bed. I don't know what that means. Southeast bedroom, 2 female victims. Third floor southeast bedroom floor. Third floor southeast bedroom, 2 female victims. It's interesting that for the third floor, Kaylee and Maddie, there's blood cast off. They're photographing blood cast off, on the door of the bedroom. There's none of that for Ethan and Xana. I didn't see photographs of cast off for their door or anything like that, huh? Okay, so how many of these? Okay, let's get to the third floor here. I just want to count something. Sorry. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 4 photos of the 2 female victims on the third floor. So 4 for Xana, 4 for Kaylee and Maddie, 3 for Ethan. As far as photos go, not trying to be graphic or anything, but I mean, if you're here listening to this, then, you probably don't mind the graphic stuff anyway. It's interesting though. Nope, no photos of cast off for Ethan and Xana. All right, these are all the photos of cars that were parked along the street on King Road. Obviously, these are not all suspect vehicles or anything like that. I think maybe they were just probably walking up and down the street taking photos of all of the cars that were parked on Queen, on King, and like how it all intersects weirdly over there. They probably just walked around and took a bunch of photos of everything as far as vehicles go. Then we have, let's see, 1, 2, 3 medical masks outside blank King Road. Okay. All right. Which one was that? 1, 2, 3, 4. That was number 4. Ryan Snyder. Supplemental report for Ryan Snyder. Number 4. Let's stop sharing that. Let's get over to number 5. Simply Solo. Hello. How are you? Welcome on in. I'm coming back over to my chat. Wade Bird. Hello. Good to see you, sir. Welcome on in. Just finally getting back over here. Sorry if I'm missing anybody. Suzanne, hello. Hope everybody's having a good day. Yeah, it's only going to get worse, guys. If you're sad about these documents or, it is what it is. Like, I've been through a lot of them already, right? We're doing this together, but like, man, some of these details are rough. It's rough. You got to compartmentalize, okay? I know it's hard, but you got to compartmentalize that shit and, don't let it. I know it's hard, but compartmentalization is key, friends. Justice, hello, welcome in. So, Canadian Cat Lady, hello. Good morning to you. Good to see you. All right, so that was what? What were we at again? Was that number 4, Ryan Snyder? We're going to number 5, right? Need some Z's. Hello, hello. Good to see you. Yeah, I think we're going, that was number 4. We're going to number 5. Wade Bird is a female? What? Oh, well, I'm sorry. Wade Bird, hello. Darling. No. Why did I do? Wait, who am I thinking of then? Maybe I'm confusing Wade with someone else. I don't have enough coffee in me. Hello, Wade Bird. Oh, see, there it is, Christine. Hi, Christine. Good to see you. Now I know, and I won't forget. Yes, Justice, I have. We'll get to it. I'm sure everybody's already gone through the docs and read it anyway. You know what I mean? Anybody who's already read through the stuff, then they already know it. I'm just doing this to go through it myself, have it on the record, but yeah, I've already been through all of it. I was up very late last night going through a lot of it. All right, so, sorry guys. We are going to, that was number 4, we're going to number 5. All right. Lost my place there for a minute. We just did Ryan Snyder. Supplemental number 5. Well, look who it is. It's Anthony Dollinger. Come on down, Anthony Dollinger. You're the next contestant on Fuck Around and Find Out. All right, so this is Anthony Dollinger. This is J and JK interview. Interesting. J and JK. Jack Katovich. Is that Jack Katovich, I wonder? On November 13th at approximately 12:53, I arrived on scene at 1122 King Road and spoke with Sergeant Gunderson and Sergeant Lawrence, who gave me a brief overview of the information gathered at that time. Sergeant Lawrence informed me the Idaho State Police were going to assist in the investigation and were organizing to respond to the scene. Sergeant Lawrence responded to the police department to begin interviews. I remained on scene on the perimeter awaiting further information. Approximately 1 hour later, 12:53, so that would be 1:53. Approximately 1 hour later, a male approached the scene and began speaking with Sergeant Gunderson. The male was identified as J.K. Sounds like Jack Katovich. I overheard Jay state his daughter. Oh, this is Jeff Kernodle. Oh, his daughter lived in the 1122 King Road, and he had been trying to get in touch with her but was unsuccessful. Okay, my bad. This is Jeff Kernodle. Okay, now it makes sense. It was also learned Jeff's daughter, Jazz R. Kernodle, was nearby the scene. Jazzy was nearby the scene, right? I asked Jeff if he and I returned to the police. I asked if he and Jazz could come to the police department to speak with me. Jeff agreed, and I returned to the police department. I contacted Sergeant Lawrence at the police department and asked if he had the names of the victims. Sergeant Lawrence stated he did and gave me the list. I saw one of the victims' names was Xana A. Kernodle. I then met with J&J in the interview room off of the police department lobby. Once in the room, I activated the audio and video recording equipment. I asked J&J for their information, and they both handed me their Arizona driver's licenses. After writing down their information, I asked Jay what the name of his other daughter was. Jay told me her name was Xana. I then informed J&J that Xana was identified as one of the victims and that she was deceased. Both J&J became very upset and were crying heavily. I asked J&J when the last time they communicated with Xana was. Jazz stated she texted with Xana on 11/11 at approximately 5 o'clock. Jazz said the text messages were brief and were not of any substance. Jeff said he texted Xana on 11/11 at around 3:40, and she responded stating she was at work. Jeff then told me he last spoke with Xana on the phone on 11/11 at approximately 21:40. So what's that? 10:40, right? Am I right about that, Eddie? 10:40, 21:40, 10:40, right? I think I'm right about that. On 11/11. I thought he talked to her on the 12th. You're right. 12 and 9, 21. Thank you, Eddie. I'm peeking out of the corner of my eye on my chat on my phone. Thank you, Eddie. 9:40. Okay, so he speaks to her at approximately 9:40 on the 11th. So he didn't talk to her at all on the 12th. Jazz and Jeff didn't speak to her at all on the 12th. They spoke about going to the WSU football game. on 11/11. They spoke about going to the WSU football game. I asked Jay where Xana worked, and he said at the Mad Greek. I asked both Jazz and Jeff if Xana had mentioned anything about having any issues with anyone or anything strange occurring lately. Both Jeff and Jasmine said Xana had not said anything. Okay, but didn't you just change your lock the week before? Jay said Xana had a boyfriend, Ethan Chapin, who she had been dating for about 6 months or so. Jay said everything seemed fine with their relationship, and Jay added how he had met Ethan's parents in passing this weekend. It should be noted Jeff was in town visiting as he resides in Avondale, Arizona, and it was Washington State University's Parents' Weekend. I asked J&J if there was anyone they wished me to contact for them, if they wished to speak with. Anyone such as a member of clergy, they both told me no. Gave both of them my business card, informed them our detectives would be in contact with them in the near future. So, why didn't they, I'm confused. Why didn't they mention it in this report, and why didn't they mention it when they were asked, like, do you know if Xana has mentioned anything about any weird things going on, or did she feel unsafe, or blah, 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 right? You're having this conversation with them. And I understand you're not documenting every word of the conversation because you are recording it audio and video, right? So this is just a supplemental report. It's not like the full correspondence of what was said. But if you're asking all these questions, I don't understand why they didn't tell this officer then that, like, yeah, actually, now that you say that, I just had to change her locks for her for whatever reason, right? Either the door got broken, the lock got broken, she thought someone was stealing stuff, like whatever the case may be. I'm I don't know why they didn't let them know that he just changed her locks for her. Know what I mean? I don't know. That's just my observation on that. I don't know. Maybe they didn't think anything of it because the lock wasn't being changed for some weird reason. It was being changed because, it got broken. I don't know. Maybe she didn't want to be charged for damage to the door or something, so she got her dad to fix the lock. You know what I mean? You don't want to, like, because you're renting. I don't know. It could be something like that. It may not be anything weird as to why she needed the lock changed, and maybe that's why they didn't think it was important when they were first asked. Or maybe they were so distraught, it didn't even occur to them, and it's something that they were, came to mind after or whatever. But I just feel like I've just been gaslit on this case this whole time. I just feel like it's one big motherfucking gaslight, bro. All right, so let's close this one out. That was number 5, right? I hope someone's keeping track. I don't remember if that was number 5 or 6. We'll figure it out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, it was number 5. Let's get to number 6. I hope you guys hit the like. Give it a thumbs up, give it a thumbs down. Kane, look at you. How you doing, buddy? That was number 5. Let's go to number 6. Ro, hello. I just saw you out of the corner of my eye. How you doing, Ro? Says we got 60 people here. I hope that, you're doing something if you're here. Let's see. So this is from an officer, Aaron Morris, for scene security. It's not that long, so that's good. On November 13th, 2022, at around 1300 hours, 1 o'clock, I was advised by Captain Barrett to respond to work due to a homicide investigation. I was told to remain available for calls for service. At around 4:30, I relieved Officer Rosinski on the north side of the 1122 King Road. I was stationed for scene security and helped keep a log of who entered and exited the crime scene. Officer Smith entered at 1700 hours and exited at 1725. 5 o'clock to 5:25. ISP Talbot entered at 5 o'clock and left at 5:40. Corporal Payne entered at 5 o'clock, exited at 5:23. Prosecuting Attorney Jennings entered at 5:03, exited at 5:23. ISP Jake entered at 5:25 and left at 5:38. Gideon entered at 5:25, exited at 5:39. Blaker enters at 5:28, exits at 5:40. Oh, that's interesting. Hang on. Back up here to Corporal Payne real quick. Thought Payne and Blaker walked the shit together, bro. Talbot entered at 5. Corporal Payne entered at 5, exited at 5:23. Blaker enters at 5:28, leaves at 5:40. Corporal Payne entered at 5:28, exited at 5:38, so he went back in alone. Interesting. $5:25. Gideon's in there till 5:39. Sorry, guys, my brain needs to process the time thing here because Payne made it sound like him and Blaker were walked through the scene together by OFC Smith, correct? In the probable cause affidavit. And it would appear based on this officer's little logbook here of who enters and exits the scene. Corporal Payne enters at 5, leaves at 5:23, and then Corporal Payne comes back again alone at 5:28 and exits at 5:38, so he's in there for 10 more minutes alone. Or maybe there's other people still in there, but either way, that's interesting. I'll move on. Officer Stirk relieved me from both north side of the residence, and I went to the south side to relieve Officer Nunes at around 6 o'clock. I stood at the rear of the residence for scene security. I assisted Sergeant Blaker in putting evidence tape on the sliding glass door on the south side of the residence. The tape was to ensure no persons tried to access the scene overnight. I returned to the north side of the residence for the remainder of the night. Once ISP and investigators made their final walkthrough, the residence was secured at 23:44. What's that? $11:44? No, that can't be right. So they didn't secure the scene till yeah, 11:44. And then Officer Rosendahl relieved me and I cleared. So Rosie is the one who actually did the overnight at the house. And it looks like they didn't, so according to him, the tape that they put up out back was to ensure no persons tried to access the scene overnight. It's Rosie who's staying at the scene overnight. And this is after ISP and investigators made their final walkthrough of the residence, and it was cleared and secured at 2344. And if my military math time is correct, which don't quote me, 9, 10, 11, that would be 11:44 at night that the scene is secured. Okay, so that was number 6, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep. Stop sharing that one. We got a lot to go through, guys, and I can't even believe how long this has been already. I need to stop giving commentary and just read. We're going on an hour and 45 minutes, for God's sake. And we're only at what? Shit, did I just read 6 or 7? 6. We're going on to 7. Okay. Number 7. I'm going to read through this one. Actually, this one is just a little bit longer. Yeah, I'm going to read through this one, and then I got to pee real quick, so that's what we'll do. I'm going to read through this one. Then I'm going to take a pause for a minute. I'll mute myself. I'll go use the restroom. If you guys need to do the same, we can all do that, but we'll read this one real quick before we do what we need to do. All right, so this is John Lawrence. This is a supplemental report for his initial response. On November 13th, 2022, at about noon, Captain Barrett called me and informed me there had been multiple victims of a homicide located in a residence on King Road and requested all available detectives. I called Detective Vargas and was informed she was out of town and would be back in Moscow on Monday morning. I called Detective Mowry and he informed me that he would be on his way shortly. I called ISP Lieutenant Mike Mooney and told him I need assistance from ISP detectives in processing the crime scene. Lieutenant Mooney put me in contact with Sergeant Gilbertson. I briefed Sergeant Gilbertson on what I knew, and he told me he would start to assemble his team. I responded to the scene where I met with Sergeant Gunderson. Sergeant Gunderson informed me that officers were dispatched to an unconscious person at 1122 King Road, and that is when they found 4 deceased college-age people in the residence. I told Sergeant Gunderson I needed someone from his team to return to the police department to start writing an affidavit for a search warrant. Sergeant Gunderson asked Officer Nunes to handle that task. Interesting. I thought that was what Brett Payne did. I then did a very brief walkthrough of the residence. I entered the residence from the entrance on the north side of the building. Officer Warner, who was securing the scene, logged my entrance into the residence. I then went up to the stairs and located a deceased female on the floor and a male in the bed in the west bedroom on the second floor. I climbed the stairs to the third floor and located 2 deceased females in the southeast bedroom. They were both in the bed. I spoke with Officer Smith, who was securing the residence at the south entrance for a moment, and then I exited the residence through the north entrance. Officer Warner noted my departure. I called Sergeant Gilbertson and informed him of the additional information provided to me and what I had seen. I told him MPD would be needing their assistance. I also told Sergeant Gilbertson MPD and officer writing an affidavit for a search warrant. So Mitch Nunes handled apparently writing the affidavit for the search warrant for the house, for the King Road house. I returned to the police department where I met with Sergeant Blaker and Corporal Payne, whom I had called earlier and requested they respond to the PD. At this time, Detective Mowry was at the police department. I requested they interview the other occupants of the residence where the deceased were located. There were also several friends of the deceased who had been with the deceased the night before and may have had information of their whereabouts and who they were with prior to the murders. Those interviews started at about 13:48, 1:48. Those to be interviewed arrived at the PD about 13:30, so 1:30. I put them in the training room and provided them with drinks and snacks. Who the fuck is this? Lawrence. Captain Lanier arrived and asked me how he could help. I requested he find officers that were not already tasked and complete a canvass of the neighborhood. Captain Lanier took care of the neighborhood canvassing. At about 14:23, so 2:43, J.K., father or sister of Xana, arrived at the PD. He was informed of Xana's death, okay, so Jeff, by Captain Dullinger. Captain Barrett informed me Ethan Chapin's family had been notified of Ethan's death. Captain Barrett asked me to take care of the death notifications from Maddie Mogan and Kaylee Gonsalves. Captain Barrett provided me with the information the university had on file for Mogan and Gonsalves. There was no emergency contact information for either. So I called Kootenai County Dispatch due to Mogan and Gonsalves' home addresses being in Kootenai County. I provided the KCSO dispatcher of the addresses listed with the university for Madison and Kaylee. M told me she had the names S and CG listed as residents of the address provided for Kaylee. I requested a death notification for them. I was contacted by Deputy Mitch Jan from KCSO. He asked what he could tell the parents, and I informed him we knew very little at this time. A short time later, Deputy Jan called me and told me that when he arrived to give the notification to the parents, they were already aware. I also provided Madison Mogan's address, and M was not able to locate anyone with the name Mogan at that address. M said she would send a Coeur d'Alene police officer by the residence to make contact. A short time later, Officer Matt Sykes requested that I call him. When I made contact with Officer Sykes, he told me S and K, so S blank and K blank, L blank blank of Madison Mogan were driving to Moscow. About 20 minutes after my conversation with Officer Sykes, the Laramies arrived at the PD. So I would imagine this is Karen Laramie, Scott, right. So there's a Scott, a Karen Laramie, and someone else. That's interesting. But the address that the police had for them and that they went to go contact them, they weren't there. Or like, that's not their address, right? There's nobody with the name Mogan at that address or anything like that. So Scott and Karen Laramie, parents of Madison Mogan, were driving to Moscow. About 20 minutes after my conversation, the Laramies arrived at the PD. Captain Barrett gave death notification. Captain Barrett requested I interview them. I spoke with Scott and Karen in the lobby interview room. They told me they had a great relationship with Madison. She got along with everyone. She had a strong relationship with her boyfriend, Jake, who lives in Boise, and that she had just gone to Boise to see him the weekend prior. Madison and Jake had been dating for about a year and a half, and Jake is from blank. I asked if there were any problems with past boyfriends, and there were none to their knowledge. I asked if Madison had mentioned any stalking behavior from anyone or anyone that made her uncomfortable, and they said she never spoke of anything. Okay, that was that. Interesting. So, let's see. Number 7, we're going to move on to number 8, friends. But first, if you need to use the restroom or grab a snack or grab a drink, do it now. That's what I'm going to do. I need to mute. I'm going to go pee real quick, and then I'll be right back. Don't go anywhere, friends. Don't dip out. There's only 70 of you here. You know, you can come back. I only have to go pee. It's not going to take that long. I'll be right back. Chat amongst yourselves. I just have to use the restroom. Oh, well, hello, Twiz. How you doing? Oh, mom duties, Meg. No worries, darling. Jesse, hello, Jesse. How are you? Sorry, guys, I haven't been able to like highlight comments or anything. I'm in another window reading, trying to watch chat on my phone. I can't see it when I'm reading in my laptop. So, hi, Dana. How you doing? Good to see you. Welcome on in, everybody. I hope you guys are having a great day. Hope everybody's doing good. I'm going to go pee real quick, chat amongst yourselves. I'll be right back. Okay, sorry about that. I am back. I took my phone with me. I just wanted to say thank you. You know who you are. They are in chat, but they didn't want me to say their name, but thank you so much to the person who just sent a $50 tip to my Cash App. That was way too kind of you, and you are amazing, and I appreciate it. And it's going to go straight into the Starbucks Fund, okay? So thank you very much for that. All right, so where did we leave off? We left off at number 7, was it, friends? Is anybody paying attention? My thingy should tell me here. Let's see where we left off. Yeah, 7. All right, so let's get into number 8 of these supplemental reports. Let's see. Yeah, Twiz, go get some rest. I see that you're in chat. I can see that you're tired and you want to sleep, huh? So go get some sleep. So let's see. This is from Officer John Rosinski. This is Rosinski Scene Security, K-Bar follow-up, and PR interview. I don't know who PR is, but let's find out, I guess, see if we can discern anything here. Here we go. 11:14. I learned that a sheep was found inside the apartment. All right, that sentence jumped out at me, but let's start at the beginning. On November 13th, 2022, I received a phone call advising me there was a quadruple homicide at 1122 King Road. I arrived to the Moscow Police Department, put on my police-issued uniform, and relieved Officer Warner at the above address, who was currently holding scene security and maintaining a log of who came in and out of the apartment at the front door, which is on the north side of the apartment. I was on scene for about 2 hours until I was relieved by Officer Morris, who took over my duties. The following day, on 11/14, I learned that a sheath was found inside the apartment. The sheath was tan in color and had a Marine Corps eagle, globe, and anchor symbol on the sheath. The words USMC were located under the EGA, and K-Bar was above the EGA. I was tasked to follow up with businesses in town to see if that particular knife was sold there. I followed up with Tri-State Outfitters, Big Five Sporting Goods, Moscow Building Supply, Spence Hardware, and Walmart. Each of the above stores does not sell K-Bar brand knives. While at Walmart, I was speaking with a staff member, name listed on name tag, who was showing me the knives on display. She told me about 2 or 3 weeks ago, a white, college-aged male asked for a black ski mask that would cover his face. Blank was unable to provide much detail other than he was taller than she was and maybe had tan skin complexion. Blank said she advised the male they did not have any black ski masks and only camo. Blank said the male then walked away. On November 14th at 11:45, I spoke with PR at the Memorial Gym substation. R is currently the blank for the fraternity blank. I'm assuming currently the president for the fraternity blank. I asked R if he could walk me through what he did on the night of November 12th and the early morning of November 13th. R said at about 6:30 on November 12th, he was at a party. R said the party was at the Tree House, which is an off-site campus house for the sorority blank. R did not know the specific address, but said the house is near the White's apartments. R said at the party he saw EA, Emily Alant, who was with E boyfriend, unknown name, maybe H, so Hunter. R said Alant was the only member of blank that I'm assuming hi-fi that he recognized at the party. R said he left around 2200 or 2300 hours. R said he went back to blank and watched a movie with CD, TR, and KS. R said he went to the corner club around 1:49 on 11/13 to pick up JG, JD, and NR. R said they were alone and not with anyone. R said he dropped off the three above individuals at their apartment off of King Road. R said after he dropped them off, he went back home. Who are these fucking people? Let me check my chat. Anybody know who this is? JD went to the corner club to go pick up JG, JD, and NR. Who is this? JD. Who would Jack be with? That's JG and NR. I'll drive myself crazy. I'm not going to try and figure it out right now, but that's interesting. All of them got dropped off at their apartment off of King Road, right? Because they were all roommates, right? God, I saw her in here too. One of these reports, JF, looked like, I think that's Jake Ferris, that kid Jake Ferris, if I remember correctly. He's listed as like someone gave his name up as a person of interest. There were some names that were given up as persons of interest. And I think it was JK, JF, I'm assuming Jack Katovich, Jake Ferris, because all those kids all fucking hang out together. Yeah, there's no mention of Adam. I saw that Simply Solo, yeah. R said he went to the corner club around 1:49 to pick up JG, JD, and NR. And this person's initials is PR. So, wonder if PR and NR are related. All right, so that was number 7. Um, okay, for the love. For the love. I think I accidentally, when I was trying to tab, booted myself, right? Maybe that's like the sign, huh? Maybe that's like the sign for me to take a break and come back on in a little bit. Ay, ay, ay. Okay, so I was reading Supplemental Report number 8. What did you guys not hear? Did you hear number 8 or no? Uh, the uh, the dog, the canine dog being brought in to look for a blood trail. Did you guys hear that or no? If not, I can bring it back up. It's not very long. Okay, so nobody heard number 8. Okay, that's fine. Make sure I did. Oh, wait. No, number 8 was. Number 8 was about the sheath. You guys heard. Okay, but you did hear me read everything about the sheath, right? Okay, that was number 8. Let me go back over here. Number 9. I think number 9 is the one for the drug dog. Yeah, okay. Sorry, not the drug dog, the blood searching dog or whatever. Okay. Wait, so you guys didn't hear the one that you missed the one about the sheath. I could have sworn that one I did share and read. The sheath. Okay, you got the sheath, just not this one. Cool. Okay, perfect. All right, just making sure. Okay, so this is from Aaron Morris. This is his supplemental report that I was reading when I apparently booted myself out and didn't realize it. So here we go. On 11/14/2022 at approximately 1100 hours, I responded to 1122 King Road in regards to follow-up. I took note of who came and went from the scene. ISP detectives, as well as Sergeant Blaker, Detective Vargas, and prosecuting attorneys entered the residence. GC arrived shortly after with her cadaver dogs to attempt to locate a blood trail from the residence. ISP entered the residence at 1125 at 11:25 hours. Detective Vargas entered at 11:26 hours and left at 12:26 hours. Sergeant Blaker entered at 11:27 and exited at 11:49. Jennings and Thompson entered at 11:30 and left at 11:53. Jennings re-entered at noon. Sergeant Blaker re-entered at noon with Detective Vargas. C arrived with her canine at 13:16. They all remained in the area until 14:21. Everyone cleared the scene, and the residence was secured again at 14:21 hours. So there's nothing in here about whether or not these dogs found a blood trail, found, anything. So that's interesting. They don't even, it's not in the report. Okay, so that was number 9. Let me close out some of these tabs real quick before we go any further. That's number 3. Close out number 4 since we already read that one. Close out number 5 since we read that one. Eight, 9, we just read. All right. This is number 10, right? Okay, here we go. Number 10, this is Tesdall. We're going to get into Jacob Tesdall. We should be getting into Rosie reports, Tezzy reports from that night, all that good stuff. Let's see. Can't see my comments. Here we go. My comments are So it's weird. My phone, they're not matching up with what's on my screen here. So hello everyone. Thank you for being here. I know there was a lot more of you here earlier. A lot of people dipped out, probably because I took a break or whatever, because I booted myself off, but we'll go through a few more of these, and then I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a little break, maybe come back like around, I don't know, like 3-ish or something. We'll pick back up, and because I want to get through at least these first 50 supplementals today. I don't care how I need to do that. You know what I mean? If I got to break it up, we'll break it up. It is what it is. Number 10. Let's get into Tesdall here. Okay. So we have Jacob Tesdall, plainclothes detail, victim sighting. Victim sighting. Not interested. His report is for plainclothes detail and victim sighting. On November 12th, 2022, at about 2100 hours, I began an overtime shift for a plainclothes detail on the University of Idaho campus and related areas. This patrol was for minors in possession/consumption of alcohol, along with other alcohol and drug offenses. During this patrol, I and the other officer with me, Officer Rosendahl, only had our body-worn cameras. We were operating out of the Moscow Police Department Ford Fusion, which I drove throughout the entire detail. This particular department vehicle did not have a dash camera or any other recording device. My street time conducting the plainclothes detail concluded at 3:52 on November 13th. So you began an overtime shift, 2100 hours, 9 p.m. By 3:52, you're done. Okay. 3:52. During this detail, Officer Rosendahl and I made several patrols through the area of King Street and Queen Road. During each patrol of the area, we traveled on the north side of 500 Queen Road, heading east. We wrapped around the building, heading south on the east side, then west on the south side of the complex. We then traveled north on the west side, turned west onto Queen Road, and proceeded to King Street. So the car, that white sedan that's seen repeatedly coming up past the house, around the Queen Road apartments, and around the back, it's the undercover cops. It's their white sedan circling the Queen Road apartments, just so we're clear. Right? So we're clear. He's admitting that it's them in this Ford Fusion that has no dash cam and no recording device. And they're making circles around the King Road house and the Queen Road apartments up until 3:52 a.m. Interesting. So all the Linda Lane footage, when they're talking about this white sedan that keeps coming back around, it keeps making these loops. It's these fucking plainclothes cops. Sorry, just my opinion. I don't know shit. During one of the patrols in this area, while approaching the southwest corner of 500 Queen Road, I recall seeing a darker colored vehicle with taillights on. This vehicle was parked facing south on the south side of the parking lot towards the west end. There was a short section of the parking lot which extended to the west of 500 Queen Road, south of 1122 King, which was where the vehicle was. Each time we patrolled this area, I drove the same route. During the final patrol, which to the best of my recollection was between 2 and 3 a.m. on November 13th, 2022, as we traveled north on the west side of the apartment complex, I saw several individuals approaching the residence at 1122 King. During this detail, I was looking for alcoholic beverages, open alcoholic containers, and individuals who appeared to be intoxicated. But I did not see any reason to contact them for our related patrol. I recall my view of the individuals being obstructed by vehicles and brush on the east side of the parking lot for 1122 King. The individuals were walking close to a vehicle which was parked in the northeast corner of the lot. As I turned on to Queen Road and traveled west, I continued to view the individuals. From my recollection, there were at least 2, possibly 3. I recall one of the individuals having blonde hair. I do not recall exactly how many individuals there were, what they were wearing, or any other details, as I quickly looked for beverages in their hands and whether they were staggering from intoxication. Since we made several patrols through the area, I cannot say with 100% confidence I saw the vehicle on the same pass I saw the individuals. Upon review of my radio history, I contacted 3 individuals at blank Taylor Avenue about 2:55, to the best of my recollection. This was after exiting King Street, after seeing the individuals at 1122 King. We cleared this contact at 3:32. Okay. Well, where's the rest of the report, Jacob? Because you also stopped Hayden and the buddy of his who was stealing the construction sign right after you cleared up with the 3 boys here at 3:32. Okay? We cleared this contact at 3:32. Well, right after this, you're turning your body cams back on because you're stopping the 2 kids who stole the construction sign. And you're saying up here that you were done by 3:52 a.m. Interesting. Hmm. Very, very, very interesting. It's okay, I'm going to help you, right? It's okay, I'm going to help you. 3:51 a.m. One of these people is entering a new contact in their phone. Oh, see, Simply Solo. See, I just looked over at my chat on my phone. You get what I'm saying? 3:51, new contact. 3:52, these 2 are done. He's not including anything in his report here about, yeah, upon review of my radio history, I contacted these 3 individuals in the Banfield, and I also contacted 2 more individuals immediately following this who were stealing a construction sign not far from the King Road residence, one of whom had a fresh laceration and or abrasion to his head that my partner asked him about. He had a fresh injury that my partner asked him about. All right, so that was number 10. Close that one out. Oh boy. Number 11. All right, so this is from David Hathaway regarding voicemail and phone call from S. On 11/14/2022 at about 20:22:42 hours, dispatch advised they were forwarding a call to my cell phone. My phone briefly started to ring, but then it suddenly stopped. For some reason, the call was forwarded to voicemail before I could answer. When the voicemail came through to my phone, I learned it was from J.S. Jack Showalter. The voicemail said, "Hey, how's it going? Um, my name is Jack Showalter. My phone number is blank. I just wanted to make a statement to you guys because I was close friends with Maddie Mogan. I was with her at the corner club most of the night, and then after we left, we wanted to go to John's Alley, and we went to stopped at Grub Truck. They got Grub Truck. Then a car picked them up, and they left and went home. I just wanted to make a statement about unintelligible. I don't know if anything is helpful, but I was just with them, like, for a little bit. So if I can be of any help, I would like to be. Give me a call. Thank you." Shortly after I got the voicemail, Showalter called dispatch again and was successfully transferred to my phone. Showalter essentially said the same thing he said in the voicemail that he left. Showalter said he was out with Maddie at the corner club until about 2:30. Showalter said several times he did not know who the other girl was that was with them that night. Showalter described the girls getting into a silver sedan after they got food at the Grub Truck. I confirmed Showalter's name, date of birth, address, and phone number. I also confirmed with Showalter he drove to his parents' house at blank in Boise. I asked Showalter how long he planned to be at his parents' house, and he said that he was skipping the next week of classes and would remain in Boise until after Thanksgiving break. Showalter said he was willing to talk to a detective about his involvement with this case. Showalter said he does not have a roommate at his Queen Road apartment and that he lives alone. I recorded our conversation with my dash camera and body-worn camera. The videos were uploaded to the WatchGuard server. I attached the audio file of the voicemail Showalter left me to this case through the Spillman. Wonderful. Hope we get that. Fantastic. Showalter, eh? Had his own little apartment on Queen Road right there and lived alone. Interesting. Okay, let's close out that one. That was number 11. Let's get into number 12. Transformer Uplifter. Truly appreciate the time and effort you are extending to provide our subscribers with information in the Idaho 4 Supplemental Reports. Thank you so much for sharing. Oh, well, thank you for being here, and I appreciate you. Thank you so very much. You're awesome. Appreciate all of you. Says there's 60 of you, 61. Give it a thumbs up, give it a thumbs down. You know, I'm just some snarky bitch on the internet with an opinion of what I read. And hopefully you're here for that. All right, so that was what? Oh, that's right, I closed it out anyway. It doesn't matter. It'll put me back where I left off. All right. Number 12. Come back over here for a second. I know, right? I think it's because Needs and Z's, like, Showalter was a suspect off the rip. He was definitely a person of interest, like Jack DeCore, Jack Showalter. There were people that are named. We'll get into it. Obviously, if you've been able to read through some of these reports already and get ahead of where I'm reading from, like, you'll see that multiple people were named as people of interest. Multiple cigarette butts were collected. Little sidebar, I have no idea why all these kids had so many fucking disposable cameras collected from their house. But I have my theories on that. So it's just absolutely wild. It really is. It really, really is. As we get further into this, it's insane. Is all I can say. It's just all I can say. Mama, you forgot cat soother extraordinaire. I don't know where my Mercy cat is. I literally haven't seen Mercy cat on for a while. I'm guessing, you know, I hope she's just taking care of herself and not stressing about this because she shouldn't be stressing about this. But Mercy cat, I love you so much. And if you catch any of this on the replay, I miss you, darling. I hope you're taking care of yourself. I really do. Clifton, can't trace disposable pics. Yeah, bingo. Well, that was, Clifton, you get it. I had someone ask me last night, why would they have so many? I'm like, because then there's not a digital footprint in your phone, right? All right. Sorry. So sorry. My mic. So anyways, um, yeah. Why would he say he didn't know Kaylee? Exactly, Gina, right? Showalter's interesting. I don't know why he would say he doesn't know Kaylee, considering when we watch him on the grub truck, he only moves when Kaylee moves. And Kaylee has a Range Rover that's registered to someone with the initials JS. So something tells me that, Showalter was likely a suspect, like right off the rip. But it is interesting. All right, so this one here, this is Gunderson, dumpster search, and area canvas. On November 14th, 2022, I responded to the area of King Road and Queen Road. I photographed and looked in 3 dumpsters in the area outside King Road, blank King Road, 1122 King and blank King. All 3 dumpsters were located on the street. I saw nothing of evidentiary value in the dumpsters. I photographed them and cleared the area. ISP later pulled the trash pursuant to this investigation. Some blood was located on the 2nd floor at blank Taylor Ave. Blank Taylor Ave is commonly referred to as the Whites. The party that everybody was at the night before, huh? And is a known party location. The blood was isolated to one area with no trail to either area. I photographed the blood and notified on-scene investigators. Officer House and I walked various areas around the crime scene looking for evidence. Officer House and I found nothing of evidentiary value. Okay. Interesting. Blood located on the 2nd floor at blank Taylor Ave, or what's known as the Whites. and is a known party location. The Whites is also that off-campus sorority house that the other kid was talking about in one of these other reports that we just read through. Okay. And the disposable cameras to me are just so interesting because of how all these kids use their social medias and like posted so many photos and videos and TikToks and Instagrams and Visco, right? But yet they have so many disposable cameras. So I would just be really interested to know what was on those cameras and did they ever develop the film? Because in this day and age, nobody's using disposable cameras and it doesn't make any sense that you would have them when you already take so many pictures and post them to every social media outlet that you use anyway. I'm not saying that knocking them or anything. I'm just saying the whole disposable camera thing was wild to me when I saw how many were collected. It wasn't just like one or two. There's quite a few. So, okay, so there's that one. Gunderson. Thank you. Thank you, Gunderson. That was supplemental number 12. Let's get into supplemental number 13. Right. Oh, this one's from Captain Roger Lanier. And got to tell you, it's probably one of the most boring ones I've read so far. On November 15th, 2022, at 9:30, myself and Detective Mowry responded to the corner club at blank to contact the owner blank. This is a prearranged meeting to view video from the evening of November 12th to the early morning hours of November 13th. The purpose was to confirm that Madison Mogan and Kaylee Gonsalves were at the corner club, as had been reported, to try and identify individuals seen on the grub truck video later in the morning, specifically a male who appeared to be accompanying them. So they wanted to go and talk to Corner Club because they're specifically interested in identifying this male who appeared to be accompanying them, which is Jack Showalter. Now we know why Jack Showalter was calling them, because he caught wind they're trying to figure out who he is. Upon arrival, blank already had the video up on the screen and queued to the proper time frame. Detective Mowry began scrolling through the video, which consisted of multiple views and multiple screens that were all in time sync. We determined that Gonsalves and Mogan arrived at the corner club at 22:20 hours. So 10:20, right? In a Prius type vehicle with one other identified female. The vehicle was determined to be an Uber vehicle and the driver identified. Is that Grower? Grower was the one who dropped them off and picked them up, according to the family, right? The vehicle was determined to be an Uber, blah, blah, blah. Gonsalves and Mogan mingled around the bar, but spent most of their time in front along the bar next to the left end as you face the bar. They make occasional trips to the restroom and speak to several people as they mingle. At approximately 0:22 hours, so midnight, so 12:22, Kaylee paid her bar tab using her credit card, which consisted of 9 well vodkas and 2 Add juice. Blank provided a copy of the receipt. At approximately 1, Kaylee engages in a conversation with a subject identified by bar staff as J.S. She was seen with S was seen with Gonsalves and Mogan in the grub truck, so it's Jack Showalter. He's seen with them in the grub truck video later in the evening. This appeared to be a consensual conversation, and it appeared they knew each other. At approximately 1:14, Mogan joins in the conversation, and all three remain generally in the area of the bar near the wall. Nothing stood out during that time, and both appeared to know Showalter. At 1:31, Showalter paid his bar tab with his credit card consisting of 5 cans/bottles and 2 kamikazes. After paying, he walked to the back of the bar, went into the restroom, came back out, retrieved his coat, and came back to an area near the exit where Gonsalves and Mogan were waiting. Showalter waited in the background while the girls finished conversing with others. Then they all exited the building at 1:37. The parking lot camera shows them walking away together, across, then out of the parking lot in a westerly direction. They were all dressed the same in the grub truck video, with Showalter wearing a white or very light colored hoodie with a brown coat over it. While reviewing the video, we also recognized Jack Decor, who was reported to be Gonsalves' ex-boyfriend. We did not track his movements in the video, but he appeared to spend most of his time at the opposite end of the business, seated with several other males. At one point, there appeared to be a brief interaction with Gonsalves that looked cordial and in passing. Decor left at 1:51 with 2 other men. Also noticed in the video was a subject seen in the grub truck video. I recognized him because of his unique sweater and long hair and beard. That's Hayden. Dutch brother sweater guy. And the construction kid stealing the sign, his buddy. He was identified as Hayden Valley or whatever the fuck his name was, I don't remember, by bar staff. He checked out at 12 so 00, so midnight. He checked out at midnight using a credit card in the name of SV. Oh, so he's using like his mom's credit card or something, or a parent's credit card, showing 2 micro tubs. I didn't notice any interaction between Villa and Gonsalves or Mogan. I think his last name was Villa. A third subject who was seen in the grub truck video was also observed in the corner club, but we were not able to identify him. He is a stocky build, white male with brown hair and facial hair, wearing a brownish sweater. I did not observe any interaction between him and Gonsalves or Mogan. Because the video file was extremely large, Detective Mowry was unable to copy it to an external storage device. We left the business, and Detective Mowry is working on obtaining a usable copy of the video for closer review. Interesting. All right. Stop sharing that one. So this person, the PR person or whoever it was that went back to go get people from the corner club, a JD, a JK, and someone else. Okay. Stop sharing that one. That was number 13. All right, we're going to get through 14. No, because JV wasn't the initials, simply. Sorry, I'm looking at chat now. I just came back to chat. JV, I didn't see the initials JV. HV is Hayden. I know that because that's the kid that was like stopped on the second body cam after Rosie and Tesdall finished up with the kids in the band field. Hayden was at the grub truck, and he's the kid that gets stopped later by Rosie and Tesdall. And he does have on a very unique sweater and long hair, and he's very easy to spot on camera. So, I mean, I guess it's good the cops also recognized him and spotted him just like the rest of us did, right? It wasn't us just spotting him. Cops did too. So that's, you know. Now, what time were the girls blowing up JD's phone? If I remember correctly, it started at like 2:30 something and it went to like 2:53 or something like that. HV. Yeah, no, it's all good. Simply HV was the initials. SV is the credit card he used to pay for his tab at the bar. So like Hayden's credit card isn't in Hayden's name. It's in SV. I'm guessing he uses a parent's credit card. It's my guess. Or a siblings or something. I have no idea. All right. So let's see. We got a lot more to go. I'm going to do 14. I think what I'm going to do is get 15 since I wanted to get 50 out of the way today. And I'm going to break it up into segments. We're going to get up to number 15 here. I'm going to shut it down, come back probably around like 3:30-ish. We'll start out at 16 and go to 30, see how far we can get, try and at least get to 30, maybe 40. Yeah. And then like later on tonight, I can finish out the rest. Hopefully that works for you guys. I'm getting antsy. I got a couple things to do. So let's get to number 15 and we'll go from there. And I got to take a couple hour break and then I can come back. Sound like plansies, funsies? Everybody cool with that? Plus I can let my mic charge back up and stuff. So hopefully everybody's cool with that. Yeah, we're going to get to 50 today, Twiz, no matter what. I think this segment, I'm going to get to 15, take a little breaky poo, come back and get to at least 30, 35. And then tonight I'll finish off to 50. I want to try and get through at least 50 of these supplementals like each day because there's over 300 of them. So if I did 50 a day, I could literally cover 50 a day for 6 days. And I still haven't been able, there's still more. Know what I'm saying? So it's a lot, friends. It's a lot. So we'll get to 15 today. How about that? Oh yeah, don't worry. It'll all be posted. You know, if you turn on your notifications, as long as you get your notifications on, you'll get notified when I'm about to go live and stuff. Oh, hang on one second. You're welcome. All right, friends. Sorry about that. My daughter had a question. Let's see. Okay, cool. You guys are cool with that, right? Are you? I'm sure, you know, I'm sure you guys have already heard 30 other creators who are already up to like document 200 or something. You know what I mean? They're probably up to Atlanta's probably already done. You know, but I'm doing this shit at my own pace. I want it for my own channel, in my way, with my thoughts. And that's just how I'm going to do it here. And I, you know, appreciate all of you. I hope you know that. So thanks for hanging out with me. Let's get into number 14. We'll get to number 15. Oh, I'm already sharing that, Annie. Okay, so number 14 is Danny Vargas. This is evidence collected from Talbot, ISP, and interviews with neighbors. Let's see, on November 14th, 2022, I went to 1122 King Road with Sergeant Blaker to observe the scene. I walked through the house and around the outside of the residence, along with other investigators looking for possible evidence. ISP investigators were on scene, walking through for a second time, looking for additional evidence. I walked around the south side of 1122 King Road, up the hill and along the fence line for Blank Walenta. The backyard for Blank Walenta backs up to the backyard of 1122 King. I spoke with SG at Blank Walenta and asked for his permission to look through his backyard area, which he said I could. G told me he was a person who previously called dispatch to provide information about what he observed. I told G after looking over the area and through the residence on King, I would come back and get a statement from him. I did not locate anything of interest in the backyard of Blank Walenta or on the hillside behind 1122 King. I walked into 1122 King and looked through the house with other investigators. The following 4 evidence items were collected by ISP Talbot inside 1122 King Road on November 14th, 2022, and turned over to me on scene. ISP took photos of the items in the places they were collected from. I booked the following items into MPD evidence. A copy of the evidence property receipt relating to these items is attached electronically to the case file. Exhibit 57, a rolled $2 bill located on the desk in F2 bedroom 1 northwest. So floor 2, bedroom 1 northwest, a $2 bill located on the desk. Exhibit 58, blue powder suspected drugs located on the desk in floor 2, bedroom 1 northwest. That's Ethan and Xana's bedroom, right? Floor 2, bedroom 1 northwest is Ethan and Xana's bedroom, correct? Exhibit 59, blood sample west wall, floor 2, living room. Exhibit 60, blood sample, floor 3, bedroom 2, northwest wall. I spoke with the following people who live at blank Walenta. My conversations with SG, MM, and TM were recorded and are attached electronically to the case file. SG's date of birth is something 2001. MM is 2000. TM is 1997. Is that Molly McMichael? MM and TM. Lived at blank Walenta. I'm looking at their date of birth. No, that can't be Molly McMichael. SG, MM is born in 2000, right? So this is a 25-year-old. Well, 22 at the time. 97. TM. Guess it doesn't matter. So he spoke to all of them. Let's see. The following people who live at Walenta, blah, blah, blah. These are their date of births. SG told me the following. He woke up a couple of times Saturday night. He looked at the clock, saw it was 4:17, and said after about 5 minutes of waking up, he heard a dog barking outside from the direction of 1122 King Road. G said he was going in and out of sleep after an hour. Around 5 o'clock, he still heard the dog barking outside from the direction of 1122 King. G said his bedroom is on the far northeast side of Walenta and is closest to the backyard of 1122 King. G said there is a motion light outside of his window and said if it turned on, he would have noticed it. G told me he has lived in this residence since January and has not heard the dog barking outside before in the middle of the night. I next spoke with blank, MM. M told me on the 13th he woke up around 2:30 and left the house at 3. This is Matt Moyer. Said he had an extended training day. Yep, that's Moyer. Extended training day, and it lasted about 12 hours. Moyer said he finished his extended training day around 1800, 6 o'clock at Buffalo Wild Wings, and arrived home around 6:30. Extended training day. Maybe it's not Moyer. Maybe it is. On Walenta? Has to be Moyer. Right? Wasn't Moyer renting out that house like it's his dad's or something like that, the house that Moye was staying in, but his dad didn't live there, but him and his sister were using it or something. I could have sworn, I could be totally wrong, but no, this is someone who lived on Walenta. Someone who lives on Walenta. These are their date of births. We have an SG who resides at this redacted Walenta address. Okay. Right here. There's an SG whose date of birth is something 2001. So they were only 21 at the time. We have an MM whose date of birth is 2000. So they also would have only been approximately 22. Then we have a TM who's 1997. So this person is about what? 25, 26. And if I remember correctly, Matt Moye, the house behind King, kind of up there on Walenta, it was Matt Moye, his sister, and there was some other dude living there with them. If I remember correctly. So maybe it is Matt Moye. I don't know. But he did his extended training day, lasted 12 hours at Buffalo Wild Wings. He arrived home at 6:30. M said he was with approximately 20 blank members, so could be sorority or fraternity members, and did not notice anyone who should have been there was not there. He did not notice if anyone who should have been there was not there. M did not remember hearing anything in particular when he woke up or left around 2:33 in the morning. Did not hear the dog barking. Well, at 2:33 in the morning, this is when Maddie is literally outside with Bethany and Murphy. And then she is also going back into Bethany's room to say she can't find Murphy. And she's asking Bethany where Murphy is, even though the two of them were just outside together with Murphy right around this time frame here, the 2:30 time frame. So that's interesting. He's leaving between 2:30 and 3. He doesn't hear or anything in particular. And he didn't hear the dog barking. But we know that Bethany is telling the police officers that her and Maddie were together outside with the dog till approximately 2:30-ish, 2:40-ish. And then she went back inside the house, and Maddie came back in a few minutes later into her room asking her, have you seen Murphy? Even though they were both just out there together with the dog. I next spoke with TM. T told me he did not hear a dog barking at any point. T said he had been out at the bars the evening of the 12th and got home around 2:30. So he's getting home around the same time his buddy here is leaving. And his roommate here doesn't mention that, huh? Next spoke with TM. Told me he did not hear a dog barking at any point. T said they had been out at the bars the evening of the 12th and got home around 2:30. T said he sleeps with earplugs in. T said his sister, MM, mentioned she saw Madison Mogan at some point at the corner club. They provided me with his sister's phone number. Oh, maybe MM is, what's her name there? Maddie Moye. Right? Matt's sister. Is that her name, Maddie? Maybe the MM who's doing the training shift at Buffalo Wild Wings is a female. I thought it said he, though. I thought it said he. Now I need to go look again. I'm sorry. My brain will need to look at this. SG told me the following. He woke up. Okay. Next spoke with MM. MM told me on the 13th, he woke up around 2:30. Okay, so MM is a he. Next spoke with TM. TM is a he. Did not hear the dog. T said his sister, another MM, mentioned she saw Madison Mogan at some point at the corner club. He then provided me with his sister's phone number. Interesting. All right, that was number 14. Let's get to 15. We can do it. Then I'm going to take a little break. Let's do number 15. You guys are all so amazing. I don't know how people do this and they can just sit there for like 5, 6, 7, 8 hours. No knock on anybody else. I'm not talking shit. I'm not knocking somebody else. I just don't know how they can do it. I can't. I wanted to get up out of this chair about 35 minutes ago because I can't sit still. I don't know how to sit still. It's very difficult for me to sit still. And we are at right now 3 hours. Oh my God. It's like my worst nightmare. All right, one more to go, friends. One more to go. And then I'm going to shut it down and I'm going to come back probably about 3:34. And we'll get through another 15 or 20 of them. So this is from Officer Aaron Morris. This is his contact. It's his supplemental report for contact with the Women's Center, AA interview, LM contact, CC contact, follow up with Greek life, DNS tip. Interesting. See, tells you up here what the supplemental is going to be, you know, what he's writing it for. These are the things that he's going to talk about here. On 11/15/2022, LS and CF came to the Moscow police substation to speak with Officer Rosinski and I regarding an incident possibly related to the homicide that occurred on November 13th. They stated that on October 21st, 2022, an unidentified white male came into the Women's Center and asked to speak with someone. F spoke to the male. She stated he asked for snacks and appeared to be under the influence. She stated the interaction only lasted about 5 minutes. F stated the male said he had a female friend who was in an abusive relationship. The male stated that he was afraid the female would be hurt by her boyfriend and was also afraid he would hurt the boyfriend due to the abusive behavior. F did not gather any names and had never seen the male before. I asked both F and S if they had any contacts with any of the victims. They said they did not, and they did not have any of their contacts documented. On November 15, 2022, at approximately 11:50, AA came into the substation to speak to me. I was told by Corporal Payne A went to Gritman on November 13, 2022 to seek medical care for cuts on his hand. I asked A what happened to his hand. He stated on November 12, 2022, around 220 hours. What? 8 o'clock. Why can't they use regular time? November 12th, 2022, at around 8 o'clock, he cut his hand, attempting to cut chicken for a sandwich. A stated he was intoxicated, and when he was trying to cut the meat, his pocket knife slipped and cut his hand. You're using a pocket knife to cut chicken? Excuse me? Are you trying to get like botulism, or what are you doing, sir? That's the most weakest ass excuse I've ever heard in my life. You were cutting chicken with a pocket knife? Really? Interesting. How did this officer just let that slide? Cutting chicken for your sandwich with your pocket knife. Okay. Okay. That's the most grimy shit I've ever heard, but okay, that's gross. You are going to end up with botulism or some kind of staph infection or something, sir. I don't know who you are here, A. if you're listening or this ever reaches you, stop cutting chicken with your pocket knife, friend. Just a tip. You're lucky you weren't in Gritman having your whole hand chopped off for gangrene or something because you're eating chicken that you were cutting with your dirty pocket knife. Like, what's up with Moscow? I'm sorry. I'm just gonna say it. You know what I mean? Like, what's up? What's in the fucking water out here, bro? Like, I don't believe this guy's excuse for the cut on his hand. I'm sorry. I just don't. Let's read this again. Let's just read this again. On November 15th at approximately 11:50, AA came into the substation to speak to me. I was told by Corporal Payne A went to Gritman on 11/13/2022 to seek medical care for cuts on his hand. Cuts, plural. I asked A what happened to his hand. He stated that on November 12th at around 8 o'clock, he cut his hand attempting to cut chicken for a sandwich. A stated he was intoxicated, and when he was trying to cut the meat, his pocket knife slipped and cut his hand. I asked when he got to the hospital. He read his wristband from the hospital, and he said he went in on 11/13 at 1400 hours. So 2 a.m. He cut himself at 8 at night, and he went in at 2 a.m. Huh. Okay. Used a pocket knife to cut chicken for a sandwich, and then the pocket knife slipped and cut his hand. Oh, 2 p.m. Okay, my bad. So he went at 2 p.m. Sorry, guys. Yeah, this is what... don't listen to me. Don't listen to me. I don't know shit. I've told you guys this a million times. If I say it wrong, I'm so sorry. The military time stuff, it's been a long time. I try to use it as often as I possibly can, but I don't understand why they can't just put regular motherfucking times. 8 a.m., 8:51 a.m., 2:52 p.m., right? Just type it normal. Use normal time that the rest of us can understand. Okay, so around, that would be 8. Okay, so 8 in the morning, he cut his hand, and then he went to the hospital at 2 p.m. on the 13th, right? Let me check my chat. You guys are smarter than me with this stuff, so whatever. I don't care if I get it wrong. Fuck off. I don't care. I don't care. I asked when he went to the hospital. He read his wristband from the hospital and said he went in on 11/13 at 1400 hours, so 2 p.m. Okay. A told me he lived at the blank house. The laceration was on his frat house. He lived at the fraternity house, right? Is my guess. Is that why they redacted it out? A lives at the fraternity house. A told me he lives at the blank house. I'm guessing fraternity. The laceration was on his right hand. He sent me a photograph of the injury, and I attached it to the case. I asked A if he knew any of the victims. He stated he had seen Ethan 2 times at parties, but did not know any of the females. He said blank's sister's house was blank. He said it was a national standard, but he had friends from multiple sororities. So blank's sister is a sorority house, or blank's house was... He said the blank sister house was, oh, the blank's sister. The sister house. Okay. Interesting. He's talking about, okay, the sister house to his frat house, huh? The blank sister house was King Road. I don't know. That's weird. Friends from multiple sororities. A ran me through his weekend from Saturday morning. He stated he slept in Saturday morning, November 12th, 2022, and woke up around 9:30. A said he went to the treehouse, which was a blank outhouse, a fraternity outhouse or sorority outhouse located at blank Taylor Ave. He said he spent the whole day there watching the game. He said he left the treehouse around 1930 and went back to the blank on Elm Street. He said he was drinking all night and finally went to bed on November 13th at around 4 in the morning. Interesting. A said he was with his friends, DM and CK, all night. Oh, LM. Sorry. He was with his friends, LM and CK, all night. A provided me M's phone number. Officer Rosinski talked to M later at the frat, I'm guessing frat or sorority house because it's redacted. M said he and A were walking downstairs at the frat house or sorority house when A missed a step and fell into the window. Oh, well, I thought you said you cut it. You cut it with your pocket knife because you were cutting chicken. Oh, your buddy fucked up and your buddy told the police that you fell into a window. You guys should have got your story straight, huh? So he's telling the cops he cut his hand while he was cutting chicken with a pocket knife. But when they talk to his buddy's like, yeah, no, he fell into the window. Oopsie. M said he and A were walking down the stairs at the frat house when A missed a step and fell into the window. M said at the time neither he nor A saw any blood. M said A was cutting chicken and he saw the injury. According to M, A was extremely intoxicated and thought he cut his hand while cutting the chicken, but M believes he cut it on the glass. Oh, well, hire M. M's your regular detective over here, huh? I'm figuring this shit right out. No, buddy. You fell into the window. You didn't cut your hand from the chicken. Don't be silly. Remember? You were drunk. We were walking down the stairs at the frat house, remember? You don't remember because you're wicked fucked up. But yeah. No, you fell into the window, buddy. That's not from cutting chicken. A said he was willing to sign a consent form for medical records if we needed them. A said he could not remember if he cut his hand on the window or with the knife. Oh, well, oops. A said his friends told him to go to the hospital to make sure there was not glass in his hand. I went with A to the blank house, frat house, sorority house. They blank it out, so it's got to be frat or sorority house, in my opinion. I don't know shit, no facts here. He showed me the window they found broken. I photographed the window and attached it to the case. On November 16th, I responded to blank at Main Street. A person of interest, J.S. Jack Showalter, lived at blank. L confirmed Showalter lived at the unit alone. They said they did offer free internet service to tenants through C Communications, I'm guessing, Charter Communications, because that's the, I bet you it's Charter. I bet you I'm so right about that, even though it's redacted. I think it says Charter Communications. L said they could not see who used the service. I asked L if any of their tenants tried to get out of their leases recently. They said no. They said S started his lease on July 18th, 2022. Interesting. And Kaylee moved in July what? June what? End of June, beginning of July. Showalter gets an apartment right there by July 18th. Kaylee's driving a Rover registered to someone with the initials JS. JS lives alone right by there, and he's deemed a person of interest according to these police reports. The employee remembered Showalter because his father was adamant on getting him the apartment. I responded to Charter Communications to see if Showalter utilized the internet service they provided. The employee gave me a paper with all tenants from Blank Queen Road that used it. Showalter did not use the service. On November 16th, 2022, I was asked to follow up on individuals connected to victims or people of interest. These are the names provided: MB, DB, NF, JF, and CB. I called the Dean of Students office for phone numbers for B, and F. I called B first, who stated he was at his home in Boise. B and F stated they lived together in Meridian. I passed the information on to Captain Barrett. I also TLO'd F and B. I got a number for F and called him. He provided his home address in Boise and said he was willing to speak with detectives. I forwarded that information as well as a TLO of B to Corporal Payne and Captain Barrett. On November 16th, DS and JH from the DOS office came, Dean of Students office, came to the ISUB, the substation. DS and JH from the Dean of Students office. Okay, it's not Blaine Eccles. DS and JH. Well, it's escaping me. It's not Jody Walker. It's not Blaine Eccles. Dean of Students. Well, I don't know who that is. I just don't know who that is. DS and JH from the DOS office. So these two people from the Dean of Students office came to the substation at the police department. S stated he had information regarding the homicide. S first stated the DOS office had a debrief to check in on everyone. S said JD name was Jack Decor. He said it got him thinking because D had a recent care report put in on him. On November 3rd, 2022, D emailed the Dean of Students. So Decor emailed the Dean of Students saying, quote, had a few different circumstances in my life that have substantially decreased my mental health, end quote. On November 4th, 2022, S called Decor. S said Decor seemed distant, distracted, and sad. S also brought up the grub truck video. He said he was guessing, but he believed it was Decor following the victims and hovering around them. S also said after finding out what happened, Decor was more concerned with his dog. I thanked S for the information. I asked H if he was able to provide the care reports for D they referenced. H said they did not seem hugely concerning, but would attempt to gather them. So Jack Decor wrote the Dean of Students, emailed them to say that he had a few different circumstances in his life on November 3rd that have substantially decreased his mental health. And then when these Dean of Students people, these crisis people who contact because they work with these students when they're in mental health crisis or need time off of classes or whatever the case may be, these are people from the Dean of Students calling him back. It's likely a counselor calling him back, saying that he seemed distant, distracted, and sad. And that's on November 4th. She said that this person told the police that even after he found out about what had happened, he was more concerned with his dog. Interesting. So November 3rd, he's notifying the school. So was that his way of saying he was done? Was he dropping out of his classes? Or was he just trying to get some time off, right? Either way, the officer here is asking for those reports. He thanked whoever this person is from the Dean of Students for the information and asked if that person is able to provide these care reports for Jack DeCore. Interesting. Wow. Okay. And stop sharing that one. That was number 15. We made it. We did it. Just give yourselves a huge round of applause. Can't believe I've already been live for over 3 hours. We got to number 15. I'm going to come back probably about, time is it now, 1:30. We'll say about 3:34-ish. I'll come back and we'll try and do 15 through 30. And then later on tonight, I'll do like maybe around a 9er or something like that. We'll see if we can get through all 50 today. That's the goal. I'm just going to be breaking it up into a couple of different lives. So, oh, well, you're very welcome. No, thank you, Chipmunk Feet. I love that name. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Momo. Kane, thank you. Mods, thank you so much for being here. Hopefully everybody stayed kind in chat. Sorry I wasn't highlighting a lot of people's comments. I hope you guys know when I'm reading in another window, I'm not even looking at chat. I try to keep it open on my phone next to me, but I can't. Obviously, I can't read the screen and read the chat, on my phone at the same time. So, well, no, thank you guys. Thank you for hanging out with me. Thank you for listening. I know you've probably already heard all of these other creators blow right through it, and some may even be done, but I'm just going to go at my own pace here, and I truly appreciate you guys hanging out with me. We did 3.5 hours. We only got to Supplemental Report 15. We'll try and pick up the pace for the next one. And yeah, I'll see you back here maybe about 3:34. Make sure you turn on your notifications so that hopefully YouTube notifies you when I'm about to go live again. And don't forget to give it a thumbs up on your way out. And to the person who wants to remain anonymous that sent me the little tipski in the Cash App, I truly appreciate you. You are amazing, and I am humbled. So thank you so much. And Mercy Cat, if you catch this on the replay, I love you, and I miss you, and I hope you are well. So yes. Thanks a lot for hanging out with me, guys. I will see you soon. We'll be back in a couple hours. Go somewhere else, take a break, take a walk, get some fresh air, get a coffee, do what you got to do. I'll see you soon. Bye.